Hey guys, tonight we're not setting sail into the roughest waters history has to offer. No greasy pirates, no sunburnt sailors arguing over crumbs, and no parrots loudly repeating things they definitely misunderstood. Tonight, we're stepping into something far softer, far quieter, and surprisingly meaningful. The moments when a cat finds you, and the hidden messages Allah may be placing in your path. But before we begin this gentle reflection, take a second to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy these calm journeys into faith and meaning. And leave a comment telling me where you're listening from and what time it is. Somehow it's always 2 a.m. somewhere, and 2 a.m. feels like the perfect hour to think about small signs that often go unnoticed in the noise of the day. Now dim those lights. Switch on a fan for that soft, white noise hum. Get comfortable, wrap yourself in warmth, and maybe tuck your feet in, not because the imaginary rats are planning anything tonight, but because stillness helps the heart pay attention. Let's pause for a moment. Have you ever noticed how quietly cats enter our lives? They don't announce themselves. They don't demand explanations. They simply appear at doorsteps, on roads, in moments when the heart feels heavy or distracted. In Islam, nothing happens without meaning. And tonight, we'll explore how even the smallest encounters can carry reminders of mercy, patience, trust, and protection. We'll look at how cats were treated with kindness in the time of the Prophet ﷺ, and how their presence can gently remind us of Allah's care in ways that feel subtle, not dramatic. This isn't superstition, it isn't fear, it's reflection. Tonight is about slowing down enough to notice the quiet signs, the ones that don't shout but whisper. About understanding that Allah's reminders don't always come through trials or miracles, but sometimes through comfort, softness, and unexpected companionship. So breathe slowly. Let your thoughts soften. Let the day fade into the background. Tonight, we're uncovering 5 hidden messages from Allah when a cat finds you. Gentle reminders meant not to overwhelm the heart, but to calm it. Now, let us begin. Chapter 1. When a quiet creation finds you. A stone path warms beneath the gentle touch of the sun. Its surface holds the heat of the day, smooth and steady, as though time itself has slowed. Upon it sits a graceful cat, its amber eyes calm and observant, reflecting light with quiet intelligence. It does not hurry. It does not demand attention. It simply is, present, composed, and strangely reassuring. There is a sense of peace in its stillness. The cat's presence feels intentional, though it makes no claim to be so. Its tail rests loosely around its paws. Its ears turn gently toward the world, alert yet relaxed. In this moment, the heart of the observer softens. The noise of the mind lowers. Something subtle takes place, not outside, but within. In Islam, every living being is a sign, not a messenger of destiny, not a bearer of secret knowledge, but an ayah, a reminder. Allah tells us repeatedly to look, to observe, to reflect upon creation. The cat sitting quietly, the sun does not speak in words, yet it reminds the soul of something easily forgotten, that nothing exists without purpose, and nothing arrives in our awareness without reason. This small creature depends entirely on Allah. It does not store food for years ahead. It does not worry about tomorrow. It does not calculate its worth or compare its path to another's. It lives within the provision of its Creator, moving through the world with trust woven instinctively into its being. And in noticing it, the human heart remembers. The amber eyes hold no judgment, no expectation. They simply meet the observer with calm presence. In that gaze is a quiet lesson that peace does not come from control, but from alignment, from knowing one's place within creation and resting there without resistance. The cat's presence reminds us that Allah's mercy extends far beyond what we measure. The Prophet ﷺ taught kindness to animals, care for their needs, and gentleness toward all living beings. In this, we learn that spirituality is not confined to prayer alone, but revealed in how we treat what Allah has made, especially what cannot speak for itself. The sun continues to shine, the stone remains warm, the cat does not move, and the observer feels something shift, a pause in worry, a loosening of tension. This is not coincidence, it is awareness. When Allah allows the heart to slow, He creates space for remembrance. Even the smallest creature can become a mirror reflecting divine wisdom. Cats, like all creatures, glorify Allah in ways we cannot hear. Their silence is not emptiness. It is obedience in a form we do not fully understand. Their balance, patience, and attentiveness are signs of a system designed with precision and care. In this quiet encounter, there is no message of prediction, no hidden fate, no mystical instruction, only a reminder that Allah is near, that creation is connected, that peace is available when the heart learns to observe rather than rush. The cat eventually rises, stretching slowly, sunlight gliding along its fur. It steps away without ceremony, leaving the path as quietly as it arrived. Nothing dramatic has occurred, and yet something meaningful has. The moment lingers, because sometimes Allah reminds us not through words or signs in the sky, but through stillness, through a living being placed briefly in our awareness, asking nothing, teaching quietly. And if the heart is awake, it understands that the Creator who sustains the stars also sustains the smallest creature, that the one who guides nations also guides paws along stone paths, and that peace is not always delivered loudly. Sometimes it simply sits beside us, waiting to be noticed. The sun continues its journey, the path remains warm, and the soul, gently reminded, feels closer to the one who created it all. Chapter 2. The Circle of Compassion. Salam alaikum, dear friends. Tonight, we invite you to step softly into the lush embrace of an ancient garden, a space more delightful than your morning coffee brewed after an all-nighter, where mercy and compassion blossom freely like the fragrant jasmine. Imagine the sun setting gently, bathing everything in a warm, golden hue, while a gentle breeze carries with it the sweet scent of blooming flowers and freshly mown grass. As you settle deeper into your cozy blanket, yes, the one you didn't want anyone to see but love wearing, picture yourself among a small gathering of friends sitting in a circle. There's a palpable warmth in the air, and it's not just the delicious aroma wafting from the dates laid out in front of you. They're discussing mercy and kindness, the core values that bind us all, reminding you of your neighbor who borrows your Wi-Fi without a thank you. But tonight, it's okay. Compassion is flowing. What kind? Of strange debates do you think filled the minds of people back then? Did they argue over the ideal number of times to clean their sandals, you wonder? Did they ever accidentally mix up the days of the week and show up for Friday prayers on a Tuesday? Geeky enough to count the minutes, yet still fashionable enough to miss the mark? Now, as the discussion deepens, like that one friend who always takes it too far, everyone begins sharing stories that evoke laughter along with reflective sighs. Amidst the laughter, a curious cat sneaks into the picture, its silky fur glistening in the gentle light. It strolls across the garden like it owns the place. After all, it's a cat. Imagine having that much confidence. Can you remember the last time you felt equally unbothered, strutting through a crowd, confident that you are the star? In this serene setting, the cat symbolizes mercy. With every pounce and playful swat at imaginary insects, it reminds you of the sacred teachings that guide the community. Just like this cat, the heart must be gentle, nurturing, and sometimes a little playful. After all, What's mercy without a touch of lightness? You turn your gaze back toward your companions, whose faces are animated with stories richer than the guacamole at last week's taco fiesta. They share murmurs of how Allah's mercy envelops us like the robe of a forgiving father, a robe you imagined your own father wearing, slightly snug and definitely with a few stains from heartfelt dinners and backyard barbecues. Each story becomes a gentle reminder that we are all driven by a longing for compassion, be it through the whispers of our neighbors or playful cats that curl up beside us when we least expect it. As the conversation shifts to the stories of compassion shown by the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, you can't help but chuckle. Imagine someone showing up at his door with a cat that took its sweet time crossing the road. You'd think. Do you think he'd groan about waiting? Or would he gently smile, knowing that all creatures deserve kindness? The Prophet's life, sprinkled with such tales, underlines the importance of mercy in various situations, from comforting the downtrodden to sharing a smile with even the most timid creature. And what about that time you found yourself feeling grumpy about sharing your last piece of pizza, only to realize it was actually your neighbor returning your lawnmower for the third time? Oh, the humble pie. Maybe this gathering, with its delightful assortment of personalities, holds a mirror up to your own experiences, offering a chance to learn that mercy doesn't always reward us with instant gratification, but most certainly brings joy and laughter in the long run. So as the evening deepens, let these stories wrap around you like a comforting blanket, inviting you to reflect on your own heart and how mercy has played a role in your life. Can you recall the last time you extended it? Maybe it was as simple as letting someone merge into your lane without honking, or gathering your friends for an impromptu meal when you sensed they needed a pick-me-up. As you sit amidst this gathering, the cat ambles over, meows, a sound surprisingly richer than your last date attempt, and curls up next to you, eyes half closed, surely dreaming of the adventures ahead. This little creature, a symbol of serenity and kindness, becomes a gentle reminder that Allah's messages are everywhere, often camouflaged in the small joys of life, waiting only for you to notice. And thus the circle of compassion continues, just like the meal prepared with care, as rich with laughter as it is with stories. You can't help but realize, maybe, just maybe, the world's problems will solve themselves if we all roamed about like this little cat, spreading kindness, joy, and the very essence of mercy throughout our days. As the gathering pulls a little closer, the sun dips below the horizon, leaving behind golden trails as soft as the warm hearts around you. You realize mercy is not just a tale, it's a treasure to be shared, celebrated, and most importantly, lived. Soon, sleep will wrap around you like the gentle whispers of this garden, inviting you into a deeper understanding of compassion and mercy, as you dream of a cat, a gathering, and a heart full of kindness. Beauty of the circle around you, remembering there's always room for one more in the garden of compassion. Chapter 3. The Gentle Heart of Empathy. Salam alaikum, dear friends. Tonight we embark on a journey that is softer than your childhood teddy bear, yet richer than your favorite late-night snack. Who knew that life in 7th century Arabia could present such intriguing mysteries? As we settle into the warmth of our imaginary mats under the twinkling stars of an early Islamic village, imagine you've stumbled upon a space that feels more sacred than that last piece of chocolate you've been saving since last Eid. So, dim the lights, turn on that delightful fan that you bought to prove you survived your last summer. Yes, the one you used to dry your laundry in your bathroom. As you nestle into your cozy corner, let me ask you this. Have you ever wondered if that cat you saw on the street last week was secretly a divine messenger? Or why every cat you meet acts like a miniature king or queen, unbothered by the world's hustle? Perhaps you've scratched your head on how a cat can just stare into your soul while you're trying to figure out what to make for lunch? Well, fear not. Congratulations! You've just woken up in 610 CE, a time when cats were enjoying their own royal status, moonwalking in the streets of Mecca, flaunting their feline charm like pop stars at a concert. If only you'd packed a catnip in your pocket. Imagine living in a world where your every action reflects an inner spiritual journey, carved not just in the sand, but lodged in your heart, as if Allah has sprinkled secret messages in your everyday life. As you wander through this sun-kissed village, take a moment. Feel the touch of the soft earth beneath your bare feet. Hear the gentle chirping of the crickets, serenading the moon like they too are starry-eyed romantics. And now, picture a small, whimsical little thing, a kitten, delicately tiptoeing around the corner, with fur as plush as a freshly baked loaf of bread, and big green eyes sparkling like emeralds in the dim light of the crescent moon. It catches your attention. Bismillah, you might whisper, unsure if the cat interpreted your excitement more like a greeting or a challenge. You reach out with a hand of utmost gentleness, your fingers brushing the top of its tiny head. It purrs. Ah, the sweet melody of a content kitten, a sound more soothing than your favorite lullaby. You see, my friend, this seemingly simple gesture is not merely a petting session. It's the embodiment of empathy. In this moment, you reflect on the principles that define a righteous life. Just as you treat this small creature with tenderness, understanding, and love, it serves as a mirror for your piety and kindness to the world. Imagine the villagers observing you. "Did you see that?" they'd whisper. "They're treating that kitten like royalty. What's the secret?" Perhaps it would lead to debates. Would they argue about the proper way to stroke a cat? Or have an intense discussion on what flavor of milk is suitable for a prince of the feline kingdom? And yet, this humorous image weaves itself through a deeper understanding. How we handle the smallest of creatures reflects our character and connection to the Creator. As the kitten nuzzles against your palm, you can't help but reflect more on the beloved Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, who treated animals with remarkable compassion. Can you envision him, years down the line, displaying the same gentle demeanor while a kitten pranced into his quarters, unabashedly claiming the seat next to him, eyes filled with mischief? Just maybe, he would have chuckled and thought, "I suppose everyone deserves a chance to steal the spotlight." This playful scenario takes your thoughts further. Have you ever encountered someone who, like that kitten, showed up in your life unexpectedly and brought you joy? Maybe it was that neighbor who once offered you pancakes when your culinary endeavors went hilariously wrong. The warmth of simple gestures reminds us that, like the beloved felines of our world, we all require a sprinkle of care, no matter how small or seemingly insignificant. In this gentle act of touching the kitten's head, you connect to a universal truth. Empathy bears fruit in ways we often overlook. Like the whispers of the wind through the trees, the lessons from Allah find their way into the fabric of your daily actions. Maybe it's just a cat, but it's also a reminder that mercy can be extended through the simplest gestures. As the villagers continue their laughter-filled debates, someone brings up a story about a time when they mistakenly fed a stray cat their lunch, only to be forgiven by the hungry little emperor with the most charming gaze. Laughter erupts, yet you realize empathy is contagious. A giggle shared over a cat's antics turns into a deeper conversation about how compassion is not merely a virtue, it's a lifestyle. So, as the twilight deepens around you and the soft purring of the kitten becomes a lullaby, perhaps it's time to consider, how will you carry this lesson of empathy into your own world? Will you cherish the small joys, whether it's sharing that last cupcake or simply extending kindness to a frazzled coworker? As you wrestle with these delightful ideas, the gentle kitten drifts off to sleep in your lap, wrapping itself around your heart like a tender promise that tomorrow, like today, can be filled with unexpected moments of kindness, laughter, and love. So breathe in deeply, for the whispers of empathy linger in the air as you prepare to drift away into a realm of dreams. Sleep embraces you warmly, carrying you through realms of compassion, reminding you to nurture the small joys, who might just be the greatest messages from Allah. Chapter 4. The Tender Guardian of Cats. Salam alaikum, dear friends. Welcome back to another soothing exploration of life's little mysteries. Allow me to whisk you away to a time that's softer than a kitten's purr and more entertaining than your uncle's failed attempts at jokes during Ramadan. Picture this: the bustling marketplace of ancient Arabia in the early 7th century, where the scents of spices mingle like old friends, and every corner holds a story waiting to be discovered. Imagine if those merchants had their own Instagram accounts, right? Tonight, we dive into a tale as cozy as your favorite blanket and as whimsical as a cat wearing a crown, which, let's be honest, might just be how every cat sees itself. But before we embark on this unforgettable journey, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, or leave a comment. Only if you genuinely enjoy the journey into history, of course. So, settle in, dim those lights, turn on that fan. You may need it. If things get too steamy, history can have that effect. And let's ponder some absurd yet relatable questions, shall we? Have you ever thought about what you'd do if you turned into a cat for a day? Would you demand the finest gourmet tuna out of spite for ever being called fluffy as a child? Or perhaps you'd find yourself sitting in the sun, judging your family from the windowsill as they scrambled to find your favorite toy. Now, congratulations. You've just woken up in 610 CE, the golden age of cats. Cats prance around like they're auditioning for a movie, purring in the arms of anyone who looks even mildly interested in their adorable fluff. Amongst the crowd, you spot a man dressed in flowing robes, a figure of warmth and compassion, none other than Abu Huraira, widely known as the father of cats. You can just imagine the whispers. Did you see that? He's got a feline companion. What's the secret behind his aura? As he strides through the bustling marketplace, you'll notice the way he lovingly cradles a small cat, securely tucked into the wide sleeve of his robe. Just look at that little creature. With fur that's more luxurious than the finest carpets, and eyes that twinkle like the stars nestled in a desert sky, it's a tiny treasure of divine beauty. Your heart swells as you watch Abu Huraira's gentle fingers stroke the kitten's head, and oh, does it purr. Picture the moments as the distant chatter of the market fades into the warmth of this intimate connection. You feel the grains of sand beneath your feet and hear the soft rustle of fabric brushing against your skin. The scent of spices wafts through the air as vendors shout about their fresh dates and figs, a symphony of scents dancing around you like they're a part of an ancient festive gathering. As you soak in this lively atmosphere, you can't help but chuckle at the curious sight before you. Abu Huraira, a man respected in his community, offering his emotional labor to a small creature that could, let's be honest, take a nap at any given moment. His expression is filled with affection and a hint of mischief, as if he's sharing an inside joke with the heavens. Did he ever think that strolling through the market would retire any notion of dignity? You can almost hear him muttering, "I'm just here for the catnip, but let's see how many dates I can haggle for while this little fuzzball plays the adorable card." Ah, the ancient art of negotiation. It almost makes you wish they had invented video crafts to document these lively transactions. Reflecting on the tale of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, who also shared a special connection with cats, a light chuckle escapes your lips. One could imagine him chuckling softly as he watched Abu Huraira stroll by, thinking, "That man sure knows how to turn a market trip into an adventure." Observing them, you too can't resist the urge to extend your hand, just a gentle nudge or two on that soft fur, a tactile gateway to that whispered lesson of empathy woven into their encounter. Just like how Abu Huraira treats the cat with kindness, you realize it serves as a mirror for your own connection to all living things. Are you being as kind in your world back home? Maybe it's time to start that animal shelter project you've always dreamt of. After all, even a cat has the profound ability to teach us about love and compassion. And oh, how the villagers would chatter! What a sight to behold, two divine spirits entwined in a life of camaraderie, evoking laughter and warmth that dances through the market like a playful breeze. Some would undoubtedly wonder why Abu Huraira offered his heart to such a small creature. Perhaps they'd argue about whether cats should indeed receive royal treatment. Spilled milk or fresh fish, a raucous debate about feline delicacies that niggles at your funny bone. Then, almost as if sensing your thoughts, the little cat lifts its head, batting at a loose strand of Abu Huraira's robe, claiming its space as the rightful co-star of this delightful escapade. A playful meow escapes as if it's rehearsing for its grand debut on stage, drawing chuckles from the spectators. As you drift deeper into this gentle hour of storytelling, let these jubilant scenes remind you to keep your heart open to the joys of simplicity, the small gestures that ripple into reflections of divine wisdom. Perhaps, as you drift off to sleep, you can ponder how kindness could flow into your own daily acts. Whether it's helping that neighbor in need or sharing a laugh with a friend, life holds whispers of empathy waiting to be embraced. So rest now, dear friend. Let the world behind quietly fade away, guided by the stories of the past, as the soft purring of that tiny kitten becomes the soothing soundtrack to your dreams, unveiling lessons intertwined with love, laughter, and divine messages whispering through the ages. As you settle into the realm of restful slumber, remember the unexpected companionship and light-hearted moments that can transform your everyday life into something truly extraordinary, just like the beloved bond between Abu Huraira and his charming little friend. Sleep well, and may your dreams be filled with all things fluffy and divine. Chapter number 5. Chapter 5. The Gentle Banquet. Salam alaikum, dear friends. Gather round as we delve into another captivating tale, one that's as warm as a shawarma on a chilly night, and just as delightful as finding a long-lost tenner in your pocket. Tonight, we're navigating through the bustling streets of ancient Arabia in the early 7th century, where camels saunter about like they own the place, and the whispers of the past dance on the warm desert breeze. Before we embark on this cozy adventure, I'd like you to consider a few absurdly relatable questions. Have you ever tried to share a snack with your cat, only to end up with a nibble-deprived feline glaring at you in utter betrayal? Or how about this? If you could shapeshift into a cat for just one day, would you spend it glaring disdainfully at everyone while demanding treats, all while secretly plotting world domination? I mean, assuring your humans you'd always be their fluffy overlord. Congratulations, you've just woken up in 610 CE. A splendid time, especially if you're a fan of sand, sun, and the occasional purring buddy. As the sun begins to peek over the horizon, you find yourself in a humble, dimly lit room that smells warmly of spices, with a soft rustle that beckons you to look down. And there, nestled on a fine woven mat, is none other than Abu Huraira himself, surrounded by an air of gentle humility and kindness. You notice the room is small and sparsely decorated, much like the budget hotel room you once stayed in that promised vintage charm, but felt more like a bad IKEA showroom. At his feet, a small, fluffy ball of mischief curls lazily, blinking at the world with wide, inquisitive eyes. Yes, it's a cat. This adorable creature looks as if it's about to make its grand entrance in a feline blockbuster. Abu Huraira stretches out his hand, tenderly reaching for a small bowl by his side, filled with mere scraps of food. The contrast is striking. This little banquet he's preparing could easily be mistaken for the leftovers of a poorly planned Eid feast. Our dear Abu Huraira, known affectionately as the father of cats, is meant to be the picture of piousness and generosity. But you can't help but chuckle as you imagine his inner dialogue. Must feed the little fur ball before I tackle that scandalous pile of old dates. Priorities, right? Just look. He's doing the equivalent of swiping his last slice of meat from a feast to ensure the most spoiled citizen of his household, yes, the cat, can dine with dignity. "Ah, dear feline," you can almost hear him whisper. "May your future be filled with sunny naps and an endless supply of tuna." At this moment, you could almost imagine the cat rolling its eyes as if to say, "Keep dreaming, buddy. I'll take the finest smoked salmon, thank you very much." Abu Huraira laughs quietly. He's well aware of his tiny royal companion's demands. As you observe this sacred interaction, begin to feel a warmth in your heart. The aroma of the small meal simmers as it fills the room, making it feel less like a confined space and more like a haven, a place where kindness flourishes, even in its most simplest form. You can hear the soft mews of appreciation echoing in the room, like a gentle melody caressing your ears. But let's pause for a moment. Have you ever considered how cats seem to orchestrate emotional labor? It's like they possess an innate ability to take your heart, toss it in the air like a well-played juggler, and then demand cuddles unsolicitedly. I mean, if that's not modern-day emotional blackmail, I don't know what is. Returning to our tale, Abu Huraira continues his small act of generosity, the soft slap of a paw balancing perfectly with the rhythmic beat of the heart. He knows that materials may fluctuate, but kindness and responsibility are everlasting. In sharing his meager meal, he reflects the very essence of mercy taught by our beloved Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. A reminder that taking care of those smaller and weaker than us is a reflection of our faith. Now imagine what might be going on outside his humble abode. A cacophony of voices chirping like confused birds. Merchants haggle in every corner, passionately arguing the price differences for the newest batch of dates or the finest spices. You can almost hear the market cringing and bustling all at once, like ordering food during a Netflix binge. Abu Huraira chuckles lightly, glancing out of the small window, knowing deep down that for every loud merchant shouting about his wares, there's a sleep-deprived customer wishing those prices were just a tad lower. But let's face it, humility doesn't exist when greed is in the air, does it? As you marvel at this scene, the sight of the two, Abu Huraira and his royal feline, becomes a metaphor of sorts. It is through their unique companionship that the hidden messages of love, compassion, and responsibility begin to reveal themselves. Perhaps tonight, as you lay your head down to sleep, you can ponder on this. How can a kind gesture transform not just our surroundings, but ripples of empathy through our own lives? Before you drift off peacefully into that warm slumber, much like the cat curled on Abu Huraira's lap, let this story remind you to embrace kindness in the tiniest of interactions. The universe is watching, you know. So go forth, dear friend, and cherish the gentle moments of life, remembering that even a simple meal shared can lead us to divine lessons of mercy and compassion, one purring cat at a time. Sleep tight, and may your dreams be filled with regal feline adventures. Chapter 7. Coming soon. Chapter 6. The Pause of Mercy. Salam alaikum, dear friends. Tonight we embark on an adventure warmer than fresh bread from the tandoor, and more soothing than a cool breeze on a July evening. Picture this. A golden light descends upon you, illuminating the bustling streets of ancient Medina, where the aroma of spices wafts through the air like an extravagant perfume advertisement you never signed up for. This radiant glow drapes over individuals as they go about their daily lives, whispering secrets of divine mercy hidden in simple acts of kindness. But first, let me lay on you some questions of profound absurdity. Have you ever witnessed your cat elegantly sprawled on a windowsill, fingers poised for a dramatic swat at a hapless fly, only to have it fall short? Or how about the time you attempted to bathe your beloved furry companion? That's right, the chaotic ballet of claws, fur, and a surprising amount of swearing almost makes you question if you accidentally signed up for a cat-styled wrestling match. Congratulations, You've just woken up in the mid-620s CE, a splendid era where your biggest concerns are navigating around the market and wondering if that woolen tunic really makes your shoulders look broad or just unkempt. As the sun begins to paint the sky with hues of gold and orange, you find yourself wandering through a small alleyway filled with vendors hawking everything from ripe figs to fragrant incense. It's a magical time filled with trade and camaraderie, like online shopping, but with a lot more shouting and haggling. Suddenly, a little creature darts past your feet, causing you to halt mid-stride. You bend down only to find a small, bedraggled cat staring back at you, as if contemplating life choices far deeper than your own. Imagine, if you will, its wide eyes saying, "Human, what is your function in this grand cosmic soup?" You nearly chuckle, because deep down you know that this little furball, much like those philosopher cats with the tousled hair you've seen on TikTok, holds the key to a powerful lesson. As you extend your hand, the cat tentatively nudges its head against your palm, signaling the start of a moment much more profound than you realize. Just then, from that shimmering golden light above, a gentle whisper fills the air. "Ah, my child," it seems to say. "Every act of kindness, no matter how small, is counted among the deeds of the heart." This isn't any idle speech. It's an echo of something more significant, the essence of mercy. In these moments of connection, you can almost feel the compassion that has been woven into Islamic teachings. Remember how our beloved Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, often spoke about kindness to fellow creatures? Here's a twist. Did you ever think that perhaps your cat has been silently judging your choices as you watch Netflix? In this quaint moment, the wisdom of Abu Huraira, the father of cats himself, dances in your mind, reminding you of tales he shared about how Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, would teach those who wandered into his presence about treating every creature with love. Here, at this intersection of human and feline, the act of simply feeding this little furball becomes a cosmic message from Allah. Imagine the divine secret being revealed. When you show mercy to this small creature, endless blessings await you, wrapped in the softest of purrs. Embracing the cat in your arms, the small creature puffs up like a furry drama queen, as if acting out its Oscar-winning moment. You can almost hear it declaring, "Feed me, O kind human, I am but a humble beast, and your generosity shall surely be rewarded." And just like that, in this small act of kindness, you're filled with warmth, and perhaps a bit of drool down your sleeve. The market around you swirls with life, and as you stand there, you can almost hear the buzzing chorus of men and women going about their daily lives. Some haggling with such vigor one might think they were training for an Olympic sport. "Look, that merchant is still at it," you think, as he juggles goods in one hand while defending his prices in the other. If only they could see the look on his face each time a customer walks away empty-handed by their own choice. As you prepare to leave the market, your new feline friend curls up on your lap. The golden light envelops you both, a reminder that the universe often watches our simple actions. You realize that moments of connection, whether with people or creatures, are divinely significant. These hidden moments transfer to everyone around you as you carry this fuzzy bundle back home. Suddenly, you become that embodiment of compassion, passing along your warmth like a freshly baked loaf of khubz, spreading cheer and nurturing hearts. So, as you lay your head down tonight, may you be reminded that mercy is not merely a word, but a way of life. Let this tale of the little cat spark joy in you like a magical incense wafting through the warm night air. Much like that gentle cat who comes into your life and demands your lunch, let's be honest. Simple acts of kindness can echo through time, connecting us to our own humanity. Sleep tight, dear friend, and may your dreams be filled with playful kitties and divine lessons. Chapter 7. The Gentle Snip of Humility. Salam alaikum, dear friends. Tonight we drift into a world more tranquil than a warm cup of tea on a rainy day, and more curious than a cat watching a red dot dance across the floor. Imagine, if you will, the soft glow of twilight illuminating the humble streets of Medina, where the secrets of the universe seem to whisper from every corner. Yes, my dear friend, it's time to nestle into comfort and join me on a journey through the early 7th century, a time when the stakes were as high as the prices in the bustling marketplace. But first, allow me to riddle you with delightful absurdities. Have you ever found yourself lying on your bed, staring at the ceiling, and wondering whether your cat thinks you work for her? Or perhaps you've had the realization, in the middle of sharing your Wi-Fi password, that you've been bested by a four-legged creature demanding your sandwich. We'll explore these parallels shortly, but trust me, there's divine wisdom woven through it all. Congratulations! You've just woken up in 620 CE, a time when your greatest worries might be whether the herbal remedy you just bought is actually good for anything or just a fancy bottle of disappointment. The air is thick with the scent of dates mixed with spices and the occasional waft of something your neighbor probably shouldn't be cooking. Children play in the alleys, chasing each other like a herd of goats, squealing with laughter filled with the uninhibited joy of childhood. Before long, you find yourself wandering the market, navigating through merchants and patrons discussing everything from theology to tailors with as much fervor as today's debates about which streaming service rules them all. The bustle is enchanting, a chaos that surrounds you, much like the mixed feelings of love and embarrassment when your cat walks over your freshly laundered clothes, leaving a fur-strewn reminder of its existence. As you stroll this vibrant marketplace, you suddenly come upon a captivating scene. A man, adorned in simple yet dignified attire, kneels beside a piece of fabric. In a moment that could only be described as both tender and slightly comedic, he unfurls a pair of scissors, glistening in the warm light. It's as though he's about to perform a surgical operation, but this is not for a human. It's to ensure that the sound sleep of a small cat curled up luxuriously on his garment remains undisturbed. You chuckle softly at the absurdity of it all. This man, valiantly wielding his scissors with a precision that would make even the most seasoned tailor blush. Why not just move the creature, you wonder? But as he expertly snips away, revealing his humility and respect, it becomes clear this is a man devoted to the delicate harmony of life. Ah, the secrets of the heart, you hear a distant voice in your mind, as if divinely inspired. In every humble sacrifice lies an echo of Allah's teachings. Here, beneath the surface of this charming yet slightly silly act, lies a profound message. Just as this man avoids waking his snoozing feline friend, reminding you that kindness extends beyond mere words, so does our duty to treat all beings with respect and compassion. The cat, oblivious to the meticulous effort surrounding its slumber, stretches like a tiny, fluffy deity, igniting a burst of fleeting chaos as the scissors momentarily hover like a hesitant deity at decision day. The man pauses, momentarily lost in the irony of an everyday encounter that has morphed into a lesson in humility. And there it is, a reflection of the life of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, the tender mercy he showed towards animals, encouraging kindness in all our interactions. In this scene, you grasp an essential truth, that when we bend to prioritize the welfare of others, be they human or furry allies, we're echoing the higher calling we all share. The echoes of historical humor blend tenderly with the deep-seated lessons of compassion, revealing how simple acts of kindness shape the fabric of our lives. As he finally achieves the delicate dance of cutting around his furry roommate, the man chuckles, perhaps envisioning a world where cats hold court and humans dance to their whims, much like your own life, oscillating between pet accommodation and Zoom meetings. Time drips away like honey from a warm loaf as the market sounds blend into a humming symphony of laughter, vendor banter, and distant calls of prayer. As you close your eyes tonight, may the warmth of this little man's act wrap around you like a soft blanket, reminding you to seek the hidden messages in everyday encounters. Remember that even in life's grand chaos, there are moments of subtle humor and profound truth lurking around the corner, waiting for you to embrace them. Sleep tight, dear friend, and may your dreams be filled with gentle snips of love and the purring whispers of divine guidance. Chapter 8. The Soft Pause of Divine Wisdom. Salam alaikum, dear friends. Tonight we're diving into a moment so cozy it could give a steaming cup of cocoa a run for its money. Picture a cat lazily sprawled on a richly colored Persian rug, lulled into dreams of chasing the sunbeams that peek through the windows. Ah, sweet dreams and soft purrs. A reminder that even the simplest comforts serve as a profound lesson from Allah. But before we let ourselves drift deeper into this fluffy realm, let me ask you, have you ever had a cat carefully choose your favorite sweater as its new throne? Or pondered whether your cat secretly judges your life choices based on how often you refill their food bowl? And we all know, did you really need all those extra cat toys? Spoiler alert, no is the likely answer. Yet amidst all this feline drama lurks an important truth. Congratulations! You've just woken up somewhere around 620 CE in Medina, where living your best life today includes debating the best way to season your lamb stew while dodging the occasional goat on the market street. Yes, that's right. The scent of spices fills the air. Think harissa mingling with cardamom, creating a fragrant backdrop for the chaos of daily life. As children race through the streets, you can't help but smile at their laughter, echoing like the sweetest melody. Now, as you navigate the bustling market, a curious sight steals your attention. Before you stands a man, as devoted to his humble abode as he is to the feline curled up on his beautiful rug. Clad in simple clothes that certainly look like they could use a wash, he delicately wields a pair of scissors, poised like a surgeon about to embark on a life-saving operation. But here's the twist. He's about to liberate his rug from the gentle prison of his snoozing cat. You chuckle, wondering if anyone's ever written a play about such a dramatic scene. The scissors and the slumber. You might contemplate why he doesn't just nudge the cat. I mean, could there be any greater act of kindness than cutting around a creature that's 0% interested in your plans? Yet, as his scissors expertly navigate the fine fabric, you realize that in avoiding disturbance, he stands as a silent sentinel of compassion. Ah, the gentle complexity of life, a voice inside you whispers, one that certainly sounds like a wise old sage. In this tender moment, with all its enchantments and absurdities, lies a hidden treasure, the very essence of Allah's teachings. This man's unwavering respect for the sleepy feline reminds us that true kindness isn't loud. It's often wrapped in silence, like a quilt keeping you warm on a chilly night. Suddenly, with a flutter of motion, the cat stretches like a diva waking from a beauty sleep, and you think, if only humans had such a clear signal of their demands. The man pauses mid-snip, and for a heartbeat, you wonder if he's imagining a world where cats rule and humans must humbly dance at their feet. But he realizes, much like you in the great theater of life, where you sometimes think you're the star, when really, it's Fluffy the cat drawing the crowd. Through these absurd yet enlightening encounters, you're nudged to reflect on deeper values. The gentle act of a man maneuvering around a cat becomes a metaphor, a reminder that our true wealth is measured not in gold or possessions, but in the kindness and compassion we extend toward all beings. Isn't it tastefully ironic how a small act can explode into a profound life lesson? As he triumphantly snips his way to completion, a smile dances upon his lips, and one can't help but think he might just declare himself king of the cats, second only to those who frequent the best markets in Medina. Ah, the absurdity, yet beauty of it all. Life has its little quirks, just like our feline companions who deign to allow us to share their homes, even if our primary purpose is to provide food and entertainment. Now, you gently reflect. Amidst our chaotic lives, when we prioritize the welfare of our furry companions, those purring balls of judgment, we inadvertently echo the divine wisdom from above. So tonight, as you settle into dreams, may the warmth of this scene envelop you like the cat's embrace on that snug rug. Close your eyes, dear friend, and let the gentle vibrations of humility and compassion tuck you in, nestled beside a purring universe of timeless lessons. Remember, even in this intricate dance of life, you are never alone. Hidden messages abound, waiting to be discovered, like the soft paws of a cat, gently reminding you, it's all about the little things. Sleep tight, and may Allah's blessings sprinkle your night with peace and kindness, like catnip on a sunny afternoon. Chapter 9. The Silent Door of Divine Lessons. Salam alaikum, dear friends. Tonight we find ourselves in a scene more somber than your cousin's wedding, where no one really knew the bride or groom. Picture this. You awaken in a dimly lit room in Medina, circa 630 CE, where an unfortunate little creature, a cat of course, finds itself lost in the shadows lurking behind a closed wooden door. The door, you might say, has seen better days. Perhaps it creaks a bit like that trusty old chair that squeaks more than your uncle during Ramadan. As you settle into this backdrop, remember, this isn't just any door. Oh no. This door symbolizes negligence wrapped in the frosty fabric of unkindness. Can you hear that distant meow? That should serve as a hilarious reminder that sometimes the lack of compassion can lead to an existential crisis. Best believe, the feline world takes this very seriously, even if it seems absurd. Now, have you ever pondered what goes through a cat's mind while it's patiently waiting on the other side of a door? Do they think that every bit of dust floating by could be a mouse in disguise? Or maybe they're just plotting their rise to feline royalty. Meow, indeed. And let's be honest, some of us are more like the cats, shuffling around our responsibilities while waiting for someone to bring us snacks. There's a lesson in this hilarity, hidden behind those deceptively cute whiskers. As you gently pull back the curtain of time, the atmosphere thickens with unspoken messages. This door represents the heavy weight of neglect, a yesterday's lesson that echoes through the centuries. What if the roles were reversed? What if it were you stuck behind that door, yearning for kindness? Friends, I'm sure you'd want to be found faster than last week's leftovers in your fridge. Yet this is no time for finding fluffiness in this plight. The cat, sadder than your favorite soap opera, reflects a spiritual truth about responsibility, compassion. You see, it's not just a cat. It's a member of creation waiting for recognition. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, taught us the importance of being kind, even to the smallest of creatures. Imagine if everyone treated their doors, metaphorically speaking, like a heart, wide open to compassion instead of neglected shadows. Now, let's picture a historical figure, Abu Bakr, may Allah be pleased with him. He stood tall at the edge of compassion, alert to the needs of the community. If he were here now, meeting this forlorn cat at the now creaking door, his heart bursting with kindness, he would undoubtedly offer his hand, not his scolding. Yes, even the fierce warriors of faith understood that compassion is a mighty force, greater than a lion's roar or a cat's hiss. This poor cat, now trapped inside its own little world, teaches us that neglect isn't just about the physical space. It's about the emotional realm we are yourself in. When doors of kindness close, they create obstacles that prevent the light from shining. It's not just about dashing towards the nearest rescue mission. It's about living with a heart in the right place. Do I treat others with love? You ponder, lingering on this thought as you melt into your cushions. Now, let's hear that creaky door again. No pun intended. Each creak sings a tale of the past, urging you to recollect those small acts of trust that build bridges rather than walls. If your light shines brighter than the darkest hour, you become a beacon of hope, much like that curious cat who, despite its predicaments, still dreams of chasing sunlight. But here come the comedic ironies. Can you imagine that in the early 7th century, while cats were contemplating their open-door policies, humans were trying to figure out where to hide that last date couscous? Priorities, right? Remember, dear friends, opening doors of kindness can become a delightful habit, much more rewarding than munching on stale bread left behind. This hidden message from Allah emphasizes how vital it is to care. It's about recognizing the whisper of the cat's meow, acknowledging our responsibilities, and understanding that compassion cannot be reserved just for birthdays or when your favorite tea is served. In this sacred environment, where a closed door could cost a furry friend its freedom, we find a universal truth that transcends centuries. Compassion is a choice, and like an unfinished puzzle, it leads us closer to a more illuminated life. So, as you cuddle deeper into your blankets, reflect upon this evening's mission. When the gentle whispers of neglect arise, know that within lies a lesson waiting to unfold like the purring of friendly cats on cool nights. May you find sweet solace in this story, dear friends. Let compassion be your guiding star, breaking through the creaks and echoes of life, lighting your path as you drift into slumber, cradled by the warmth of divine wisdom, dreams, and slightly confused cats. Sleep tight, and may Allah's blessings grace your night in gentle, soothing waves of love and kindness, like a curious cat returning home. Chapter 10. The Whisper of Harmony. Salam alaikum, friends. Tonight, we embark on a journey more vibrant than your neighbor's spirited debates about who left the garage door open last night. Imagine a landscape painted with wildlife, sprinkled with sunlight, where every creature shares a story. Picture dry desert winds gently ruffling fur, with curious cats exploring life's great mysteries, or perhaps just the mysteries of the nearest sunbeam. We're turning the pages to a different time, specifically somewhere between 610 and 632 CE, when the world was a tad different, but the lessons, they still ring true today. Have you ever wondered what makes nature's little mischief makers, like cats, believe they reign supreme over your couch? Or why every time you try to get cozy, a cat seems determined to claim your lap as its throne? Tonight, let's embrace these whimsical moments. What if Allah sent these furry companions as gentle reminders of His wisdom, draped in fur and affection? Have you ever pondered how much deeper your connection to life could become from a content, purring cat perched against your soul? Tonight's story involves lessons we might overlook while shuffling through life like oversized sandals in a sandstorm. After we've delved into the feline world, you'll see everything is divine, humorous, and undeniably connected. The cosmic web of existence proves there's a little magic in everyone and everything. Yes, even Uncle Ahmed, whose jokes are older than your grandmother's recipes. Congratulations! You've just woken up in this magnificent era, surrounded by soft whispers of devotion under a clear blue sky. Picture this. As you stretch your limbs, you notice a parade of animals grazing peacefully beside you, a swish of tails, fluttering wings, and endless chatter among all creatures. Welcome to a time when cats, gazelles, and curious children mingle under the watchful gaze of Allah. So, let's chat about something delightful. It's time to ponder why Allah chose to include our whiskered friends in His grand design. Is my cat secretly plotting world domination? You might ask. Who's to say? But it does make for a hilarious thought. Just think about how these little beings lurk in corners, waiting patiently to pounce on feeble creatures, much like how we humans plot our next snack. Visualize the sun hanging overhead, casting a gentle glow upon the lives unfolding below. As you observe the birds chirping their wise little riddles while crafting their next sunny conspiracy, you can't help but reflect on the unity in creation. You hear them sing about connectedness, each note echoing a divine harmony that's resonated through centuries and species alike. Just as every one of us has a part to play in our families, communities, and at the potluck when the odd dessert gets left out, animals too have roles they fulfill, often involving helping soot-laden mice find their way home. Now, let's delve into why this harmony matters more than misplaced socks. It's harder to ignore our connections while living in shared spaces, isn't it? We know the joys, the frustrations, like settling into the rhythm of life where a cat suddenly decides that your laptop is the perfect napping spot. But wait, there's a gentle secret behind all this charade. Just as your beloved pet sees you with undivided loyalty, Allah sees us too. Each of us carries a piece of the bigger picture, and every act of kindness, no matter how small, plays into this grand design. Now picture this: the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, walking through Medina where cats scurry about, filled with divine purpose and grace. Imagine him stopping to stroke a content feline, whispering softly about compassion, kindness, and balance. His message, accessible to all, sparked a renaissance of humanity and ethics more profound than our last family reunion. The connection was a lesson cloaked in fur. Every living creature deserves care, from the tiniest mouse to the cuddliest cat. What a delightful tapestry Allah wove. Isn't it a whimsical notion? Just as your cat can balance with a grace that defies gravity while chasing dust particles, each action we take can balance the world. Cats remind us, no one is too tiny to make a difference. So, as the sun continues to set, spreading a soft glow over the horizon filled with life, let this divine secret wrap around your hearts like a velvety blanket. As you prepare to drift into sleep, invite these lessons along with you, tucked warmly into your mind. Reflect upon how strong the threads of Allah's love weave through all creation, stitching together kindness, compassion, and laughter. As the rhythmic sound of purring lulls you, remember that every connection matters. Life's little quirks lead to the grandest designs. Now close your eyes and dream of endless harmony, breathing in the beauty around you. Like the gentle rustle of the leaves and the softest meows echoing across the sand. May Allah grant you peace, tranquility, and the warmth of divine whispers, sending you into a slumber filled with dreams as delightful as our furry companions. Sleep well, and may your heart be light with the lessons sown into your dreams. Chapter 11. The Balance of Compassion. Salam alaikum, dear friends. Tonight, we find ourselves standing before a celestial scale more magnificent than your last family gathering, where Auntie Fatima declared she could fit all her leftover baklava into her purse. Welcome to a moment of reflection, where the delicateness of existence hangs not in the balance of spices, but in our actions towards all that Allah has created, especially our furry friends. Imagine this. You're barely caffeinated, standing before this grand celestial scale, adorned with sparkling stars and shimmering Abu Bakr's infamous fruit stand. But instead of fruits, it holds the weight of every kind deed you've ever done, every morsel of kindness toward animals, including your sly feline who seems to have found every opportunity to betray your trust. Have you ever asked yourself, did I give that neighborhood stray a little love? Or just my leftover sandwich that should have made its way into my tummy? As you make these ponderings, you might wonder if Allah peeked down during your cat's late-night antics and just chuckled, perhaps even petting the cat as a reminder of how intertwined our lives with the natural world are. So, picture this balance. On one side, there's your record of fluffiness, purring friends, and acts of kindness. On the other, your moments of, let's say, just okay behavior, like that time you accidentally stepped on Mr. Fluffykin's tail. Oopsie. These thoughts swirl around, and time itself seems to stretch like an overbaked loaf of bread, where every action feels significant, and your heart starts to glide toward a deeper understanding. The desert winds provide a comforting backdrop, rustling softly around you, while the cats, those divine little beings, pause, observing you with their wise, almost comical gazes. It's as if they understand every twist and turn of your reflection, while also thinking, does this mean I get more treats? Let's take a stroll through this scene. You begin to realize that every care you've given, every extra morsel of kibble, every scratch behind the ears, or even just smiling at your neighbor's cat, add weight to the side of good. Perhaps you've taken your sweet time savoring that tranquil moment, your fingers tracing the soft fur of the neighborhood feline who just knows how to turn an ordinary day into an extraordinary bond of trust. What about the treatment of other animals? Have you stopped to think about the little ants working diligently just so they can party all night throwing crumbs from your last snack? Or the stray dogs who greet you like your royalty each time they see you with a trash bag brimming with snacks? Suddenly, your mind races with thoughts about all the moments you've shared, illustrating the delicate web Allah wove between us all. What if those furry souls were actually messengers of Allah, nudging you to reflect on your treatment of His creations? As you stand before the celestial balance, it becomes abundantly clear. The weights of joy and heartache, compassion and neglect, all rest on this brilliantly spun tapestry of life. Just think, cats going about their day turning you into a makeshift hammock as they claim prime real estate on your lap, only to later knock that precious vase over, creating more chaos than your toddler playing with power tools. Now back to that cosmic scene where the cats play their humble roles. They sometimes just trot away, eyes glistening, leaving you with the delightful question of, what does Allah want me to learn from my furry overlord? This cosmic purring provides comfort and humor, showing us that through the mundane, Allah always whispers gentle reminders to us through our interactions with animals. Have you ever considered how the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, spent countless moments embracing these fur balls, purring and whiskers dancing in the sun, much like Uncle? Hassan trying to win the prize for most outrageous stories about his pet chicken? Picture him amidst those desert sands, with cats prancing merrily about, reminding everyone that one must show love for the smallest of Allah's creations. So, as you prepare to drift into that soothing embrace of sleep, take a moment to appreciate the beautiful balance of compassion. Your heart rests heavy with kindness, sprinkled with humorous antics of pets who so might have believed they conducted symphonies with your laundry. These hidden messages from Allah, delivered by our cute little companions, teach us about accountability, a gentle push towards living harmoniously with every creature of creation. As the celestial scale settles and the dust of reflection settles in your sleepy mind, remember this delightful truth. Every moment counts, and every action flows through our lives like melodious whispers that guide us in the symphony of compassion. May the smiles shared with our furry friends echo through the night, bringing peace to your heart as you drift into a blissful slumber filled with whimsical dreams of cats and the whispers of Allah's wisdom guiding you always. Sleep well, friends. Chapter 12. The Purring Prophet and His Divine Secrets. Salam alaikum, dear friends. Tonight, we gently slip into a world softer than the fluffiest of pillows and cozier than your favorite blanket fresh out of the dryer. Imagine this, a serene evening in the early 7th century, where our surroundings whisper stories older than your grandfather's favorite fishing tales. Yes, that's right. Get ready to embark on an adventure exploring 5 hidden messages from Allah when a cat finds you. Messages that could rival even the best jokes told at your cousin's wedding, where Uncle Hamid can't stop eating the samosas. Before we drift into this enchanting journey, don't forget, if you chuckle or see a flicker of joy, give a thumbs up, subscribe, and maybe drop a kind word in the comments below. But only if you actually enjoyed this, of course. Now, picture this. You're nestled in your cozy corner, the aroma of freshly baked bread wafting through the air. But then you ask yourself, what would cat pizza have on it? Just imagine it. Tuna and cream cheese with a sprinkle of catnip, Your mind dances with these whimsical thoughts while you wonder, how did my ancestors ever live without Wi-Fi? But then it hits you. In 610 CE, in a land where the vastness of the desert grazes the horizon and doves coo like a music hall orchestra, you have just awakened in a time full of prophecy and purrs. Yes, dear listener, welcome to a world where the whispers of divine secrets unfold alongside the soft purrs of a cat that seems to have chosen you as its human guardian. As you lie there, surrounded by the sounds of gentle, rustling palms and that cat, a purring, magnificent creature that could win the Best Employee of the Month award just for lounging efficiently, you begin to understand the eerie, wonderful connection between your life and this little feline. Let's talk about purring. Soft, rhythmic sounds emanating from a creature that occupies
your favorite spot on the sofa. Imagine the soothing lull of that purr. What if I told you that according to science, a cat's purring can promote healing and relieve stress? Yes, it's almost as if they were little furry naturopaths, silently whispering, "Relax, you're one with the universe." Plus, that sandwich you were about to bring to work could use some cat hair flavoring. But here's where it gets truly inspiring. Picture your surroundings. You in your humble abode, the sweltering sun dipping below the horizon, casting an orange glow over the sand. You've just discovered that being present in the company of this furry friend is not just a trivial side note of life. This purry phenomenon believes it's unraveling divine truths right under your very nose and slightly messy living room, nudging you toward moments of self-reflection. As the warm purrs surround you, think back to the life lessons from the beloved Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, a man who cherished animals like they were long-lost relatives, arriving just in time for iftar. Can you imagine him gently stroking the fur of a cat, whispering to it about his dreams of uniting humanity under the kindness of Allah? Yes, that is the energy filling the room as your cat settles comfortably beside you, draped like a warm, furry shawl of serenity. So, what's that about divine messages? When a cat finds you, it's not just fluff and whiskers. It's as if Allah is sending an adorable envoy with a slate of endlessly relatable reminders. Feeling lonely? This little furry creature embodies companionship, just like how we should reach out to one another. That day you ordered 2 chicken kebabs instead of 1? Well, that was just for you and your cat to share. Remember, every act of kindness counts, and every morsel shared brings divine blessings, especially if it's grilled meat. As you begin to nestle deeper into these quiet thoughts, you're met with a revelation. These cats could be our guides through divine connections. What do they teach us? Patience, like waiting for the right moment to pounce on, well, life's opportunities. And perhaps humility? Nothing brings you down a notch quite like realizing your cat knows how to open the kitchen cabinets better than you do. In this moment, you find yourself awash with a sense of tranquility, almost as if you could hear a voice softly speak, reminding you of the many chances Allah offers to guide you. A perfect balance of wisdom and humor cuddling side by side, like you and your feline friend. This comforting purr wrapped around you is not merely a sound, it is harmony, the essence of compassion whispering in your ear. Now that we've warmed up to the wonders of having a cat as your little fluffy philosopher, let's explore a little deeper into this magical world. A cat's ability to bring calmness is not just folklore or superstition. Scientifically speaking, cats have been shown to lower blood pressure and reduce anxiety levels. It's almost as if they know they are doing God's bidding, balancing the world around them while occasionally plotting to overthrow you from your rightful spot on the couch. So, dear listener, as the night floats gently on, remember this. Every purr is a message of comfort from Allah, reminding us to slow down, breathe deeply, and appreciate the indescribable joy these delightful creatures bring into our lives. As our eyes grow heavy with sleep and your cat curls up snugly beside you, may you find peace, knowing every moment of sharing companionship with them is akin to a divine secret waiting to be unraveled. Tomorrow, and in every day to come, you'll have this adorable little reminder urging you to spread kindness, share laughter, and perhaps even feed an extra morsel to the next cat that crosses your path. Sleep well, friends, knowing that Allah's wisdom is ever present, purring softly at your side. And remember, your cat may be plotting its next culinary disaster on your kitchen counter. But that, my friend, is just another hidden blessing for you to cherish. Sweet dreams. Chapter 13. Purrs of Divine Healing. As you find yourself comfortably sprawled out in your shaded corner of an ancient dwelling, surrounded by the ambience of the 7th century, let's take a moment to revel in the healing magic of your newfound feline companion. Yes, this furry friend, who seems to have adopted you as their own personal human pillow, is not just lounging around basking in the glow of your curious admiration. No. This little marvel of nature is purring away with a purpose that transcends the ordinary, delivering messages directly from Allah to your sleepy soul. As this graceful creature nestles on your lap, the soothing sounds of its purr ripple through the warm air, like gently flowing water in a tranquil oasis. Have you ever felt your own muscles unwind while listening to that rhythmic hum? It's science, my friend. That fraction between reality and a fanciful dream where the cat's soft purring vibrates at such a frequency that it promotes healing in our weary bodies. It's almost as if Allah blessed this creature with the very gift of therapy through fur. Imagine for a moment this purring choir serenading the tired bones and aching hearts of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. In his time, the Prophet was known to be tender and compassionate toward animals, a sentiment that is echoed even today. Can you envision him, perhaps relaxing on a plush rug, an upright palm space here, and a gentle breeze carrying the scent of rich spices, the kind that could make even the strictest of diets appear to waver? And lo, there comes a cat, perhaps similar to your own, gracefully jumping on his lap, letting loose its purring magic. What if that soothing symphony was a verse from Allah, a secret message teaching not just solace, but also something deeper about well-being and connection? You may wonder, given the existence of backaches and heartaches even in the simplest moments of life, if a cat's gentle purr could serve as a divine whisper telling you, "Hold on, everything will work out." That's right. When a cat finds you, Allah is offering a little angel, purring its way through layers of your worries and fears. Ever noticed how stress just melts away under the enchanting influence of our feline friends? It's almost as if they have an extra sense for detecting your own life's little disasters, the unexpected meeting that clicked but shouldn't have, or the time you accidentally mixed your socks with your neighbors. When you really think about it, much like a good cup of chamomile tea after a long day, a cat's purr carries a certain healing quality, a promise you may not even fully grasp until you allow yourself the stillness to listen. You see, the purring frequency of a cat hovers around 25 to 150 hertz. Interestingly enough, this range has been scientifically proven to stimulate healing, reduce pain, and even help you recover. It's like they're walking mini pain relievers, blessed by the divine, to nudge you into a state of relaxation that seems unparalleled. Maybe the next time you find yourself feeling achy or under the weather, it would be wise to consult your most esteemed feline companion for a spa session. But let's pause for a moment to embrace the irony of it all, shall we? Here you are, in the midst of a historical transition, sand everywhere, the closest metaphorical standing water being probably the dish you just washed after dinner. And yet, the simple presence of a purring cat can throw your modern troubles to the wayside. It's almost as if Allah, in divine knowledge, orchestrated this little event. Why bother going to the pharmacy when you could just cuddle a kitty, you might ask? And let me tell you, dear listener, that ancient wisdom is utterly relatable even in our time. It's a revelation that could pierce through the chaos of any century, infusing the warmth of humor and wisdom into the folds of our lives.
A dutiful cat, merely existing.
There, purring, licking its paw, and perhaps even plotting to take over your personal snack stash, serves as a constant reminder that health comes from the simplest joys. So as you sit in your cozy nook, with your fluffy therapist confidently snuggled up near you, envision the layers of healing being enacted with every contented purr. Each sound a reminder, a gust of winds that rustle the palm trees outside, echoing this feline symphony. From the outdoors, creeping into the sanctity of your home, where you rest your head. Close your eyes, listen, breathe deeply, and embrace the reminder that Allah's presence is woven into even the most ordinary feline occurrences. Indeed, cat therapy is but one of the divine messages when Allah blesses you with a furry companion. Amidst the ancient sands and whirling tales of old, discover goodness in simplicity and health in all the cuddles, knowing every purr is an echo reverberating with unconditional love from your Creator. Chapter 14. The Library Encounter. Salam alaikum, dear listeners. Tonight, we embark on a journey smoother than your friend's afternoon chai. Picture this. It's the early 7th century, sand swirling lazily outside a cozy library, where scrolls hold secrets that could rival the gossip at the market. Have you ever wondered how it feels to relax in a historic library, a world away from work emails, where paper cuts are the least of your concerns? Now, whether your imagination starts with a hissing cat or a pile of ancient scrolls, you're about to discover something more riveting than a soap opera. We'll explore how a furry companion holds hidden messages from Allah. Spoiler alert, no, it's not about the perfect cat meme you sent to your cousin. But before we leap into our historical ruminations, like an eager feline about to seize its next nap, take a moment to get comfortable. Grab a cozy blanket, dim those lights, and turn on a fan. Let's set the scene for snuggly serenity. Picture yourself there, surrounded by towering shelves, lined with the wisest of words. But wait, is that the suspicious sound of a cat? Did you remember to leave a snack out for your furry overlord? Have you ever thought how a simple purr could be a reminder to unwind? You may have experienced stress levels soaring higher than the walls of that library. But we're not here to confront our boss or worry about laundry. Nope, my friend. Tonight, let's dive headfirst into how a cat can unsnarl even your most tangled thoughts, reminding you to breathe and enjoy life. Congratulations! You've just woken up in the 6:30 CE amidst the warm air of a library filled with the sweet scent of ink and parchment, a far cry from the IKEA of today. So, take a deep breath, for what awaits you is about to be perfect. Imagine this. You're sitting in a quiet corner, your back propped against a scroll-studded wall, the soft glow of oil lamps illuminating an unassuming table ahead. And then, soaring through the air like an intelligent projectile, a cat lands, boom, right on your lap. How rude, and yet, how comforting. It's as if this stealthy little furball just declared, "Chill out, mortal, you've got me now." The atmosphere shifts. Tension evaporates like a pot of boiling water left unattended. As you sit there, lost in historic scrolls and perhaps a random tunic that could double as a burrito interface, was that a trend back then? The cat begins to purr. That gentle hum resonates through your body, creating a melody that rivals your neighbor's questionable musical skills. Imagine the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, navigating the challenges of his time. Amidst deep conversations about spirituality and community, he must have encountered many moments requiring a calming presence. Maybe a neighbor's rant about garden gnomes, or debates over the best olive oil. But now picture him drawing wisdom from a cat's reassuring purr, a lazy feline licking its paw in utter bliss, completely unbothered by the world. Can you envision that? The message here is clear. Even in a world of chaos, tranquility can be found in unexpected places. Yes, my friend, whether you're laying on a coiled rug or flipping through ancient scrolls, The arrival of a furry friend is like a gentle nudge from Allah to take it easy. So, what do, sitting there as the cat unwinds on your lap? You could immerse yourself in the depths of learning, the words of wisdom fluttering all around you, or simply give in to the rhythm of feline bliss. Surely Allah placed this adorable creature into your life with a message more profound than an excessive to-do list. Maybe it's saying, slow down and enjoy a lively debate with me about your snacks. And, like melting cheese on a warm piece of bread, let the purrs coax you into surrender. They carry with them divine wisdom, a reminder, a secret message accentuated by softness and love. It's almost as if each hum whispers, in life's busy maze there's solace, so just be present. Finally, as you sit there, comfortable and floating into the realms of sleep, do you ever consider why Allah gifted humanity with cats? Perhaps they are like little therapists, gentle reminders that life doesn't always have to be mission impossible. Here you are, the whiskered therapist on your lap, a divine delivery from Allah, scattered amid scrolls and peace, destined to lift the weight off your shoulders. It's as if every purr is a mantra, telling you, breathe, smile, and don't worry so much about that indiscreet snack you forgot to hide. So, in this haven of knowledge and furry wisdom, rest your head and let the messages from Allah and your cat whisk you off into a blissful slumber, knowing even the humblest moment can embed divine secrets of relaxation and connection. Just like that, you've strolled through ancient threads of time and arrived at the profound realization that amidst the whispering scrolls of history and the purring attendees of life, peace can be found where you least expect it. Perhaps even on your lap. Chapter 15. The puzzling presence of a purring guru. Imagine a bright room bathed in the gentle light of morning, filled with warm hues that dance playfully across the walls. You're perched at a sturdy wooden table, surrounded by the delightful clutter of scrolls, inkpots, and ancient tomes, remnants of a time when intellectual pursuit was held as high as the finest silks from the market. A fragrant bowl of dates lingers nearby, because what better fuel is there for thought than the sweet taste of nature, punctuated by a cup of mint tea? But wait, there's a furry creature lounging casually on your lap, a regal-looking cat with fur as soft as the indulgent pillows from a wealthy merchant's caravan. As you contemplate a particularly tricky puzzle, like how many different ways you can rearrange your writing desk without the constant burden of dust bunnies, a small mule interrupts your thoughts. Your feline companion, now staring at you with a face that says, "Why are you complicating your life?" might be challenging your plight for enlightenment. It's as if Allah sent a furry philosopher to remind you that not all complexity is necessary, and sometimes you just need a solid nap. As you ponder over an equation that looks like it belongs on a scholar's parchment, have you ever wondered how ancient cats were considered revered creatures, even alongside prominent thinkers? This little ball of fluff could inspire you more than your overly ambitious goat herder neighbor, who, let's face it, probably thinks that the weight of the world hinges solely on his crops. What wisdom lies beneath those whiskers? Could it be that Allah whispered special truths into the ears of these sleepy companions as they snoozed in the sunbeams? Now, speaking of sunlight, let's set the scene. A bright beam breaks through the small, arched window, the kind that could make you question why you ever thought filling your home with fancy lamps was a good idea. Visualize yourself in a room alive with laughter, coated in the joyful scent of sandalwood, with soft giggles escaping as you treat the day as a puzzle to unravel rather than an obstacle course. As you playfully work through the puzzle, gripping the quill like a scribe, readying for an important decree, sometimes you glance down at your furry friend, who seems to mockingly inspect your intellectual prowess. Tailor your expectations, mortal, it seems to say, before flopping over dramatically, revealing a soft belly as inviting as a cozy blanket on a chilly night.
How many times have you had a moment similar to this during tedious tasks? Just a friendly reminder from your pet that life is about balance, and occasionally using nap time as a strategy. Kemped in this divine aura, you ponder, are you truly using your mind wisely? Has your cat become not just a companion, but a nurturing guru who teaches you to embrace calmness amidst chaos? Suddenly, you're starting to feel all enlightened, as if Allah's secrets are gently tumbling from the sky like soft rain on a parched land. Yeah, let's be honest. You can't tease out wisdom from the uncertainty of your intellect all on your own. This is what your little sage is for. Let's backtrack a bit to the early 7th century, amid deep philosophical discussions similar to your current conundrum. Is the newest tunic worth the hassle? In those times, you could find discussions about the complexities of existence over cups of cocoa-like drinks. Because let's be real, who needs coffee when you can have the finest cocoa? Did philosophers embrace big thoughts while gently petting their persistent cats? It's positively scandalous to imagine Aristotle juggling videos about cats while contemplating the stars. How about you, nestled in your cushioned corner with a cat cozily flushing your lap with spontaneous warmth, just as the prominent thinkers might have done with their furry companions? These ancient scholars may have discovered more about their minds and hearts during these moments than while locked away, mulling alone over scrolls, thinking their cats weren't cosmic buddies of philosophical import. And so, while the cat purrs as you continue your quest for knowledge, there's a sense that Allah provided you more than just a puzzle to solve. He gifted you a reminder to breathe, to be present, and to find joy in this intricate dance we call life. The lesson is crystal clear. Don't let life get tangled in complex knots when unadulterated joy is just a purr away. Revel now in this synergy, your mind racing with ideas, and in that quiet moment of understanding, allow your thoughts to simmer. You may realize that even the biggest challenges in both the past and present can unravel into simple thoughts. Much like your moggy friend snuggled up against you, a reminder that sometimes life's mysteries don't need to be solved solo, and perhaps they're best unraveled while cradling a beloved cat. As you settle deeper into the tranquility of that eternal moment, where history, contemplation, and the soft reminder of love all coalesce, you find yourself ready to drift into a peaceful slumber. And in that dreaminess is nestled a truth so sleek and silky, much like your feline companion. The peace lies within, wrapped snugly in moments shared. Breathe deeply now, dear listener, as you let go of the day, already drowsy and ready to explore the realms of divine secrets that span between these whispers of your furry guru. Chapter 16. The Perfect Blessing. Salam alaikum, dear friends. Tonight, we embark on a journey more delightful than finding a perfect parking spot right in front of your house after a long day. Imagine snuggling into your bed, enveloped in soft blankets, as we explore something truly mystical that blends tales of fur and faith. Ever wondered what divine messages are woven through the lives of cat owners? Well, prepare yourself, because tonight we'll reveal 5 hidden messages from Allah whenever a cat finds you. Now, before you cozy up too deep and drift off, I've got a few questions for you. Have you ever considered what your life would look like if you had to negotiate a truce with a feline overlord, also known as a pet cat? I mean, wouldn't haggling over who sits where on the couch be an endlessly entertaining affair? And what about that endless quest for the Holy Grail? A cat that actually listens to your commands? Or how about the age-old mystery of why your cat looks at you like you're the imbecile when you forget to put down their food? For those of you who've shared your lives with these fluffy enigmas, let us take a dive into a time around 610 CE, a land of sand, camels, and divine whispers in the air. Congratulations, you've just woken up in the early 7th century, and there's a cat at the foot of your bed, its gentle purring lulling you into tranquility. Let's talk about sound. Imagine the soft rhythm of those feline snores, harmonizing with the distant calls of merchants peddling their wares in the bustling streets. You awaken in your modest, cozy home made of sun-baked clay, the air rich with the scent of freshly baked bread, mingling with the sweet aroma of dates. Those simple comforts are intertwined with divine grace, and your little meow machine is a Persian of that blessing. Draped in a blanket that feels like a hug from the universe, you glance over at your furry companion before nodding back into slumber. The cat, settled like a king upon a throne, radiates warmth and security. In this world, having a cat snuggling near you isn't just a luxury. It's a sign that Allah has chosen you for something special. This tiny guardian watches over you. Their peaceful presence is a serene reminder that comfort, love, and protection walk hand in hand through life's many trials. Imagine for a moment, each purr from your feline friend could be interpreted as a gentle nudge from Allah, reminding you, hey, life isn't complicated. Take it easy. A nap won't hurt. You ponder the profound wisdom nestled in those whiskers. Cats, renowned for their independence, cleverly embody the balance of living in a world free from stress while still valuing companionship. But wait, what if your feline friend's presence serves more than just a snuggle? Perhaps a deeper dimension of divine secrets lies hidden within those sparkling eyes, looking back at you as if to say, "Are you using this time wisely, dear human?" You chuckle softly, realizing that even that little rascal sleeps better than you do. How could such a tiny creature carry so much responsibility while you barely manage to keep your plants alive? As you settle in deeper, drifting in and out of thoughts, the room fills with a gentle breeze, a soft caress that feels almost divine. Is it possible that each whisk of air carries messages of grace? Cat wisdom whispering to you through the warm breeze, "Relax, dear friend. Life is full of mysteries. Trust me to guide you through the small stuff." Can you hear it? The tune of cat-shaped wisdom is always a melody of calm, beckoning you to question your worries. Is that blouse worth it? The cat ponders. Or should you invest in more pishtox for cozy evenings in instead? Yes, the balance of life is enlightened in their gentle reminder. So, as the waves of drowsiness wash over you, you realize this is more than a mere moment of tranquility. It's a divine secret wrapped in fur and comfort. Your cat is not just a sweet companion, but a signal of Allah's mindfulness, reminding you to cherish the goodness around you while you drift off into dreams filled with soft whispers and delightful purrs. You find yourself wondering if perhaps there are unseen, divine teachers among us, dressed in fluffy coats, ready to remind us all to savor moments of grace, love, and a sprinkle of feline mischief. Now breathe deeply, dear listener. Allow yourself to sink further and realize, with every purr, there's a hidden message nudging you to let your worries float away like leaves in the wind. You're safe, secure, and endlessly blessed. So close your eyes now and drift freely through the realms, nurtured by soft purrs and alluring revelations. Chapter 17. The Whiskered Healer. Let's talk about the field. Imagine waking up in the soft embrace of dawn, the sun peeking above the horizon like a child trying to sneak in one more minute of sleep. You venture outside, your small feet padding over the cool, dewy grass, and there it is, a fluffy bundle of mischief purring toward you as if it's announcing a royal decree. Now picture this. You're just a young child, your imagination running wilder than a desert sandstorm, and in front of you is a cat, a vibrant little soul who might as well be a four-legged philosopher. With every gentle pat and playful tug of its tail, an unseen bond strengthens, like a knot tied securely in a favorite shoelace. Isn't it funny how these whiskered divas hold the secret to your budding immune system? Who knew that chasing this little furball through the wildflower-strewn field was actually a smart health move? Ah, the irony. Here you are,
blissfully unaware that every coo and purr can be interpreted as a divine whisper. Gently nuzzle your nose into its fur, inhale that sweet scent of sun-kissed whiskers, and just relax. You, my dear friend, are forging an alliance that guarantees healthier days ahead. Because nothing says immunity boost like rolling around with a creature capable of serious attitude and sudden bursts of zoomies that could rival a jalopy on full throttle. Now, think about it. Ever tried convincing a cat that it's, let's say, your turn to be the champion in the race? As you dash after it, pleading with every ounce of childhood sincerity, half your mind is gleefully plotting the next leap for frazzled paws weaving in and out of the grass. You can't help but wonder whether this is the cat's way of saying, "Hey, I care about you getting some exercise." In some parallel universe, this same cat probably holds an Olympic medal for the most persuasive retreat. As our story unfolds, let's dive deeper into this playful scene. You're dashing through the lush green, the sun warming your small frame like a cozy blanket fresh out of the dryer. The air is filled with the vibrant aroma of blooming flowers, mingling with the distant scent of freshly baked bread from your home. Can you hear the cheerful whispers of nature? It's almost the kind of ambience you'd want to bottle up for your future self. You roll onto your back, staring up at the sky, feeling as carefree as a sails in a gentle breeze. Thank goodness your parents can't see you now. They'd have a heart attack over the mud stains. The cat, having found its throne atop your stomach, looks down upon you with disdainful authority, its eyes gleaming with the confidence of a ruler surveying the kingdom from a perch. Best get used to this feeling, it seems to say, for I shall always remain this fabulous. All the while, you're getting a lesson in resilience just by being in this little one's presence. You giggle and gasp, losing track of time as both of you chase shadows. With every pounce, the cat brings a reset to your youthful immune system, a glorious preventative measure against allergies and ailments. Who knew life had a built-in wellness plan administered by a pocket-sized deity? Now, pause and reflect. Can a cat's love, albeit wrapped in cheeky antics and soft headbutts, actually bestow a sense of calmness? Yes. It's like receiving gentle nudges from a hidden force, reassuring you that the world is abundant with joy, laughter, and unexpectedly hilarious moments. It whispers, "See? Life is good," as it stretches luxuriously in front of you, like a yoga instructor trying to hold their favorite pose too long. Let's take a moment to appreciate this majestic creature. Imagine it sauntering across your field like it owns the land, kingdom, and you. With its playful pouncing and amusingly serious nods, this cat showcases the beauty of companionship. You pull your blanket tighter, feeling drowsy as the tranquil rhythm of purring fills your ears, nearly synchronized with the heartbeat of the earth itself. With each pat, with each roll in the grass, you're entering a prelude to a lifetime of health and happiness, sweet friend. Those sneezes and sniffles that haunt other kids? They're no match for your secret weapon, who happens to be licking its paw like a medieval noble after a feast. So as the day fades and the warm hues of dusk wrap around you like a comforting embrace, remember this. Every moment spent with your little furry guardian is a divine whisper, a hidden message from Allah, teaching you about joy and health, gently nudging you to grow in wisdom and love, both for yourself and the world around you. Now, close your eyes. Let the soft purring lull you into dreams, where you and your whiskered healer race across fields, wrap yourselves in warmth, and revel in the delicate dance of life together. As you slip into slumber, remind yourself, the divine secrets of health and happiness may just come wrapped in purring fur. Chapter 18. Beneath the Stars. Salam alaikum, dear friends. Tonight we find ourselves under the vast canvas of the cosmos, a sky more star-studded than a celebrity's Instagram feed. Picture this, a starry night in 610 CE, and you've just woken up in the heart of Arabia.
surrounded by more sand than you could shake a stick at. If you could find one, that is. Welcome to a time when texting your friends was limited to smoke signals, and the only drama unfolded in the poetics of the desert tribes. Now, why do you find yourself here? Might you be pondering the more pressing matters of existence, like what would it be like to have a pet cat in a tent made of goat hair? Or perhaps, how many cups of camel milk does one need to keep their spirits high after an accidental tumble into the well? Yes, these are the heavy questions for tonight as we settle into the comforting, earthy smell of the desert night. So before we drift off into the softer embraces of sleep, let me suggest you dim those lights, put on a fan, and wiggle into your most comfortable position. Not quite too cozy, mind, lest you fall asleep before the kicker of the tale. Imagine for a second, if we could travel back in time, what if your cat's purring could somehow narrate the astounding secrets of your existence? Would it look at you with wise eyes and say, "By the way, do you know that every purr of mine is a hidden message from Allah?" Or perhaps, "Hey, stop scrolling through your scrolls and pay attention to the moon, would you?" Congratulations, you've just landed smack dab in the era of early Islam, where the soothing song of the wind becomes more than a lullaby, but instead, a divine ode resonating the whispers of life and light. Find your cozy nook, because we're about to delve into the beautifully absurd world of divine messages as told through the adventures of a curious cat. On this clear night, there you are, sat among the sands, staring up at the constellation-studded sky. And lo, a cat appears, gazing up with you, its silhouette sharp against the moonlight. The patterns of stars twinkle down as if they too are joining in on the cosmic joke. You chuckle to yourself, thinking, yet again, nature decided to throw in a furry philosopher. But let's dig into this moment just a bit deeper, shall we? Imagine the cat, our four-legged companion of humor and wisdom, bewitched by the shimmer above. Its eyes reflect the enigmatic brilliance of the universe, hinting at a divine presence. And where does it think it's going? Ready to trot off to a celestial cat meeting with the illuminating truths of the cosmos? Maybe it's the feline federation of the universe, where all cats come together to discuss their human companions' eating habits. Now, as you take the momentous leap into contemplation, you feel a tingle run down your spine. It's like your cat is murmuring softly in 4 different languages at once, revealing incredible secrets, but leaving you ticking? Meow. Life is not just about catching mice, you know. It's about catching divine messages, too. And there you lie, chuckling under the stars. You visualize that cat as a divine messenger, presenting your 3 essential life lessons in whispers only they can convey. The first lesson? Everything in creation, even the ordinary cats catching those all-important cat naps, is a masterpiece of divine artistry. And then you wonder, amidst the warmth of your blanket, could my less than graceful attempts at yoga be anything more than an awkward dance-off with the universe? The cat stretches luxuriously beside you, and you can't help but feel that between each stretch and elegant pose, it's inviting you to cultivate a stronger spirit. Indeed, the cat is here reminding you to foster resilience in the face of trials, be it chasing after joy or merely turning over a new leaf. You hear the gentle rustle of leaves in the background, more soothing than rain on a tin roof, and you picture each leaf a hidden message, whispering wisdom from the Creator. The warmth of divine connection surrounds you, while your kitty friend's purr adds a soft bass line to the symphony of the stars. Perhaps that's the universe's way of saying, keep dreaming, keep being inquisitive. The cool desert breeze carries more than a hint of intrigue, as the cat stands at attention, gazing outside as if embarking on the quest of enigmatic discovery. Does it expect you to join in this cosmic revelation? Picture this mighty feline addressing the court of existential questions. What is the meaning of life? Why do humans sometimes trip on invisible sand? And, most importantly, is there a reward for those of us who merely nap all day? Let's now dwell on this second hidden message, the beauty of patience. As the silence settles like a thick blanket, you feel the allure of stillness, and the cat takes its role of divine guidance.
Seriously, it brings you back to thoughts of patience, a gentle assurance that the universe revels in timing. Your heart swells with understanding, filling you with warm energy boosted by this furry messenger. Instead of clutching a smartphone or flipping through a magazine, imagine a simpler life, living among the stars and the wisdom of nature. At this moment of epiphany, you hear the laughter of your ancestors in the desert, a group of wise sages who could share tales of their many journeys across the sands. Ah, the laughter dances in the air, feeding your spirit with both humor and warmth. Now, as sleep begins to wrap around you, allowing you to drift deeper into peaceful thoughts, remember the playful whisper of the night. The messages from Allah may come wrapped in the softest purr, inviting you to rest, reflect, and revel in the beauty of existence. As the stars continue their enchanted dance above, your kitty friend softly jumps off and scampers away into the night, leaving behind nothing but the echo of laughter, love, and secrets that will guide you not only in your dreams, but through the vast adventures of waking life too. So, dear friend, close your eyes now, embrace the comforting darkness, and let the divine messages cradle you into a dream-filled slumber. Good night, and may your night be filled with sublime visions and whimsical adventures under the watchful gaze of the stars. Isn't it marvelous? Perhaps if you awake in the morning, you might ponder, what was that cat really trying to tell you after all? Remember, because life has a way of sharing secrets through the most unlikely of guides. Sleep softly. Chapter 19. The Ripple of a Thirsty Heart. Salam alaikum, dear friends. As the sun dipped below the endless dunes of the Arabian desert, painting the sky a lovely shade of, oops, I spilled grape juice, you found yourself pondering life's most profound mysteries. Did a camel ever get stage fright? What about the secret love life of scorpions? You know, just the usual deep thoughts. Tonight, we invite you to tune your internal compass to the year 610 CE, where everything is dry as my uncle's jokes, and the only delivery service around is a hawk with a very clear disdain for hunger-driven requests. Imagine, if you will, the desert, not just as a landscape of sand and sagebrush, but a canvas drenched in divine messages waiting to be uncovered, just like your favorite old sweater, long lost beneath the pile of, I'll wear this someday, clothes. Now, before we journey into this tale, please ensure you're cozily nestled in your blanket, with lights dimmed as low as your last New Year's resolution. And if you're enjoying this, well, like, subscribe, and comment, but only if you actually do. No pressure. Let's dive deeper into those thoughts that tickle in the back of your mind. Have you ever considered, how would one hydrate a cat in the desert? Is it just as awkward as attempting to use a pen made of unseasoned camel? Or does it carry a comedic twist, like watching a toddler confront an inflatable pool? Now, imagine stepping out of your air-conditioned bubble and landing right here amidst this desert. Congratulations! You've just woken up in the year 610 CE, with camels nearby, a sandstorm around the corner, and an urgent feline need sidling up to you like an awkward acquaintance at a party who just wants water, and maybe a complimentary scratching post. Visualize yourself standing there, your clothing made from the softest goat's wool, enveloped by the warmth of the setting sun. As the heat of the day mellowed, you spotted something. In the corner of your vision, darting discreetly and gracefully, a cat. Yes, an ordinary cat, though a bit fluffier and more curious than your friend's cat who tries to rule the house with a combined charm and ruthlessness that could inspire a monarchy. In this parched land where even the sun looks too dry and cracked, imagine that this kitty approached you, that parched, hopeful look in its twinkling eyes, like it was expecting you to whip out a gourmet feast, but knowing your offerings would probably only include sand. What do? Standing awkwardly, you remembered that a hero wasn't wearing a cape. He was standing with a bowl of fresh water and a heart open to divine secrets. So there you are, addressing this noble creature of God with nothing but a humble bowl.
picture the stomach-churning gravity of that moment. You're not just offering water, oh no. You're presenting a cup of life in a land where dehydration could equate to ancient poetry. Tragically beautiful,
but ultimately quite disheartening. As the cat lapped at the water, your heart swelled with a sense of fulfillment. You were awakening something deep, an echo of compassion that perhaps was cradled in the shared breaths of humanity and divine mercy. "Look at me, everyone," you might jolt out too enthusiastically. "I am the cat whisperer of the desert." But in reality, it was a simple act, the act of giving. It reverberated through the sands, as significant as a prophet's call, whispering back to you the immediate divine truth that every drop counts, and generosity is a gateway to forgiveness. But let's not skip over the delightful absurdity, shall we? As you stood there, surrounded by the peculiar silence of the desert, the moment felt reminiscent of handing your last slice of pizza to that one friend who always manages to eat before you reach the table. You had done it. You invested in a relationship, even if that relationship was dictated by the meows and sips of what could only be categorized as a thirsty philosopher. How often do we overlook moments of kindness, thinking them small and inconsequential? What's a cup of water anyway? Yet here, beneath the vaulted sky, it became universal, transformative. The act of quenching a thirst in a land where all was arid must have been looked upon as an epic saga unfolding through the fabric of divine connection. The cat, now sated and much prettier in your eyes, perked up like something had clicked for it too. Perhaps it was wondering if you might have a few of those delightful pastries stuffed with honey and nuts, because who doesn't appreciate a good snack? Sure, you couldn't provide that, but it understood, even without characterizing those thoughts, that moments of kindness are bountiful, hiding in plain sight, yearning to be witnessed, and may be exchanged for purrs and soft nudges. As the last light of day flickered, you came to a profound realization. Every creature, no matter how thirsty or adorably aloof, is part of a larger narrative, a narrative woven from the threads of divine messages, all whispering that compassion leads to abundance, that you needed this cat just as much as it needed you. So there you are, in a beautifully absurd twist of fate, finding a connection more profound than any simple, thirsty moment should allow. You are presented, before your drifting consciousness, the truth that Allah's messages often come wrapped in fur, or maybe a little bit of sand. What was left unsaid was now perfectly clear. And as the slow embrace of slumber beckons, remember this moment, dear friend. You've offered water and received a lesson. Just like this furry philosopher, let kindness ripple through your existence. For in it lies the keys to divine secrets more wondrous than the stars. Sleep softly, knowing that every act of compassion weaves a story far greater than ourselves. Chapter 20. A Traveler's Thirst for Compassion. Salam alaikum, dear listeners. Tonight, as you snuggle under your thickest blanket, more well-loved than your neighbor's cat, you're in for a tale that begins hotter than a jalapeno in a sauna. The year is 630 CE. Picture this. The sun sits lazily in the sky, glaring down at a revolutionary desert landscape that feels stickier than your uncle's pitch for eating more vegetables at Thanksgiving dinner. Now, before we embark on this extraordinary tale, let me stress the importance of getting comfortable. Dim the lights, turn on the fan, and gather round as we step back in time. Have you ever felt like a wandering cactus in life? Sharp and prickly, but just thirsty for a drop of kindness? Or wondered what happens if you don't offer a grumpy donkey a muffin? Does it hold a grudge? Or do you just get dirty looks? Tonight's story is about a very special traveler who had an itch for compassion, not to mention a wild run-in with an animal who doesn't ask for much, but gives so much in return. Congratulations! You've just woken up in the year 630 CE. The air carries a thick, spicy aroma, and the distant howl of a wind reminding you of that one animal documentary you accidentally binged last week on Netflix
fills your ears. Ah yes, the desert, where the sand dances like it's been to a few too many weddings, and you, a humble traveler, roam the undulating waves of dunes, feeling like an explorer lost in a world that had no GPS, but plenty of camels wondering if they'll get their next snack. Let's stroll through the sandy landscape, shall we? Dust whirls around you like it's auditioning for a dance performance. Suddenly, in the far distance, you catch sight of a silhouette, a figure stumbling, squinting through the golden haze. Leaning in closer, you finally notice it's a dog. Yes, as ordinary as your neighbor's lawn on a Saturday morning, yet extraordinary in its own plight. Now, you may
Think, why stop for a pup when there's so much sand to traverse? But this isn't just any dog. It's like that one friend who's slightly dramatic but endearing all at once. The one who keeps telling you they only live for lattes and pet scritches. This creature needs water, and you realize you may have to play hero in a land that's dry as a camel's patience during a long queue. With a heart as big as your dinner plate, you recall the deep well nestled under a nearby date palm. How's this for a modern-day dilemma? No inflatable pool, no fancy hose, just you, your willpower, and your trusty shoe. Yes, that's right. In a moment befitting a sitcom farcical twist, you fill your shoe with the precious liquid, a cooling splash that cuts deeper than your week-old leftovers. Visualize the dog now. It approaches, tail wagging like it just heard the world's best dad joke. Its eyes sparkle with hope, a shimmer that says, "Are you really planning to offer me that? Will it disrupt your precious shoe collection?" But no pressure, right? With a flick of your wrist, you offer a cup of water. You know, the makeshift kind, which, oddly enough, is about as appealing as a grape-flavored candy to a dog. And there it is, your heart fluttering with joy as the creature savors each drop, as if it's just discovered a treasure trove buried in the sands of time. Friends, what you've just done is more monumental than sharing your dessert with a comrade dissecting your deepest fears. This is mercy in action, a divine whisper echoing through the ages. Allah's messages often come wrapped in unexpected packages, like this seemingly random encounter with a thirsty mutt. Just think, how often do we overlook acts of kindness, dismissing them as inconsequential gestures? Oh, it was just water, you might ponder, as you settle back into whatever pillow you've claimed as your throne. But hold that thought. Let's get a little poetic here, shall we? The act of Quenching a thirst in a parched land. A gesture so small, yet it resonated as a mighty wave through the fabric of the universe. Kindness can shift the balance of our hearts, centering us gently like a spinning top, rather than sending us off kilter like an unbalanced washing machine. As the dog drinks, you watch with a smile softer than a warm loaf of bread, realizing that in this moment, you are not merely a traveler. No, you are a vessel of Allah's mercy, connecting the dots between man and beast, a bridge more lasting than a sandcastle low tide will demolish. So, there you are, reflecting on the profound nature of compassion in a world where a simple act like offering water can carry divine weight. You stand as a testament to human goodness, albeit while sporting a quite questionable footwear choice. And as night wraps the desert in its silky blanket, an invitation for calm, remember this timeless lesson as you drift into the gentle embrace of sleep. Every drop of kindness Matters, not just for you, but for every beating heart in this vast universe. As your eyes close, let the warmth of compassion linger a bit longer. You've become not just a traveler through time, but an ambassador of mercy, illustrating that never is an act of kindness too small to leave a ripple in the vast ocean of existence. Sleep softly, dear friend, knowing that the whispers of your experience resonate much more profoundly than you can imagine. Chapter 21. The Kindness of a Stranger. Salam alaikum, dear listeners. Tonight, as you nestle under your blanket, more reminiscent of a cloud than an actual bed covering, prepare for a tale that's sweeter than your neighbor's homemade baklava. We're zooming back to a time when Instagram was just an unfulfilled dream, and the only algorithm that mattered was whether or not to fight over the last fig in the market. Yes, we're venturing to the early 7th century, a period packed with more intrigue than the latest soap opera. Before we journey further, let's get you all cozy. Dim the lights, turn on that fan if you're feeling hot, because this desert has hotter temperatures than your local pizza joint during a Super Bowl party. And remember, if you enjoy this story, give us a thumbs up, and maybe share a smile in the comments. Only if you honestly enjoy it, of course. No pressure. Now, let me ask you, have you ever wondered what it felt like to have a pet that just didn't make the cut? You know, like that time your partner insisted on adopting a fish, but forgot to feed it. Or have you experienced living in a world where kindness was as scarce as houses without cats? What would you do if kindness unexpectedly knocked on your door, dressed as a scruffy little dog, appearing just when you needed a reminder of mercy? Congrats, you've just woken up in 630 CE, amidst the sandy landscapes and bustling marketplaces of the Arabian Peninsula. The air is filled with scents of fresh dates and spices sharper than your cousin's insistence that he knows how to cook biryani. People mill about, their chatter mingling with the calls of merchants hawking everything from silk to embroidered tunics. And speaking of merchants, let's dive into our story tonight. A tale that starts with a woman named Zainab, whose heart was larger than her husband's concerns about his new camel's stubbornness. And that's saying something. You see, Zainab had a special knack for noticing the unseen. Much like that one friend who always knew when you were about to use their shampoo without asking. One day, as she was returning home with her market hauls, tucked under her arm more skillfully than a circus performer juggling flaming torches, she spotted something amiss. In the side alley, where the shadows grew as long as your uncle's stories at wedding receptions, she saw a small, bedraggled creature. It was a cat, a scruffy thing with a coat dirtier than a plate after a family feast. It looked at her with the kind of soulful eyes that pleaded for a single morsel, a drop of kindness. Now, let me ask you, would you keep walking, or would you risk your last fig to save a feline in distress? Zainab, as you may have guessed, chose the latter. She exclaimed, "Oh, dear little thing," with the kind of concern we usually reserve for lost children or misplaced grocery lists. She rummaged through her bags and produced a tiny morsel of bread, the last of her lunch. With a heart full of compassion, she knelt down to offer it, her hands shaking with anticipation. That cat, bless its furry heart, sniffed, then promptly ignored the bread, because clearly it had culinary standards. "Well, there goes that idea," Zainab chuckled, half expecting the cat to summon an online food critic. But she wasn't deterred. She returned to her shopping bag and pulled out a juicy piece of dried meat, a snack fit for a queen, or in this case, a feline diva. The cat perked up, its eyes widening in sheer disbelief, as though it had just heard that a new flavor of ice cream was launching exclusively for cats. As it devoured the meat, Zainab felt an overwhelming sense of joy. In that moment, she realized her small act of kindness resonated deeper than any social media post could ever achieve. What she didn't know, as she watched the cat munch away, was that this single encounter would ripple through time, like that one. Embarrassing moment you hope never resurfaces at family gatherings. Now, hold on to your coffee cups because the story takes a divine twist. That night, Zainab, with her heart still glowing from her act of kindness, went to bed. As she drifted off, the ethereal whispers of Allah floated around her, hinting at a lesson she would come to understand in the days that followed. In a dream, surrounded by celestial gardens swaying gently as if the wind had just returned from a long vacation, she heard a voice that felt like a warm hug. "Zainab, you have shown mercy to a creature in need, and in doing so, you've not only nourished its body, but uplifted your own spirit," it said gently.
For every act of compassion you demonstrate towards any of my creations, you gather blessings as plentiful as stars in the night sky." Awakening with a start, Zainab understood. Kindness, no matter how small, connects you to the divine. She soon realized her encounter with the little cat was a humble reminder of Allah's expansive love, an invitation to embrace compassion for all living things, even grumpy cats who would much rather chase shadows than your groceries. As the days turned into weeks, Zainab became known throughout her town for her warmth and gentleness. It was said that her heart had more room for love than most homes had for furniture, and tales of her compassion reached every corner, making her a living example of divine mercy in action. In this time of uncertainty, with her kind spark, Zainab illuminated the path toward a deeper understanding of faith and the infinite compassion granted by Allah, like a candle casting warmth in a shadowy world. Do you feel that warmth as well, dear listener? Let this story remind you, every small act of kindness counts. You may not be saving a cat today, but perhaps offering a smile to a stranger or sharing a kind word with a loved one can create ripples of positivity that echo through eternity. As you drift off to sleep, let it be with the knowledge that kindness is powerful and that compassion nourishes not just others, but the very essence of your soul. Sleep well, dear ones. May your dreams be filled with warmth, laughter, and the little hearts that you cherished today. Chapter 22. The All-Wise Purr of Divine Blessings. Salam alaikum, dear friends. Welcome back to our cozy corner where stories flow smoother than a cup of ginger tea on a winter's night, or at least a cup of tea your well-meaning neighbor insists is good for your health. Tonight, we've got a treat that's as surprising as finding your cat perched atop your newly delivered Amazon package. You see, we're diving deep into the fabulous 7th century CE, a time when the biggest hashtag was probably camel selfie, and the neighborhood gossip had absolutely nothing to do with social media drama. Because, let's be honest, even your most dramatic friend would have struggled without a good Wi-Fi connection. So, as you settle in like a warm blanket after a long day, I invite you to turn down the lights a bit more. Feel free to crank that fan up to blast-off mode, because you just might need it when we recount the tale that takes place under the hot Arabian sun. And, while you load, up on cozy thoughts, let's ponder this. What's your go-to strategy when your pet decides to misbehave during dinner guests? Or, perhaps more whimsically, how would an unbothered cat handle a grand debate on the merits of kneading bread versus kneading your arm? All right, let's imagine it. Congratulations! You've just woken up in 630 CE, beneath the sweltering sun of the Arabian Peninsula. You can practically smell the spices wafting through the bustling market, mingling with the earthy scents of the desert like the finest perfume you've regrettably spilled everywhere. You see women skillfully weaving fabric, their laughter ringing as golden as the sun above, and you swear you hear a friendly cat purring nearby, as if it were greeting you personally. Now, allow me to introduce you to our dear friend, Zainab, a woman whose heart was as expansive as her collection of dessert recipes, particularly those delightful date-filled cookies that you may or may not have tried to replicate, but always failed miserably. Zainab was in her home, preparing for Maghrib prayer, her heart swelling with gratitude. Think of that feeling as a warm hug from Allah, wrapping around you with the softest of embraces. As she stood, her hands raised in supplication, a little ball of fluff appeared beside her. A cat, of all creatures, plopping down with the authoritative presence of a snooty king on a throne. You could practically hear the cat's inner monologue. Your prayer is important, but let's not forget who really runs the show here. Zainab smiled, acknowledging its majestic existence. In that moment, she was whisked away from her earthly worries, entranced by the sincerity of her adoration for the small blessings Allah had bestowed upon her. As she centered her thoughts, Zainab became hyper-aware of the sacred duty of stewardship. Oh, dear Allah,
she murmured. May I remember that it is you who blesses these small creatures with life and brings them to me. I aim to care for them with the love and warmth they deserve. With every purr from the feline beside her, she felt as though Allah was passing on a gentle whisper, reminding her that compassion fosters bonds deeper than any silk thread found in a merchant's shop. Just then, her cat, let's call him Chemo, decided to interject his own idea of prayer by enthusiastically attempting to nudge her handbag off the prayer rug. Zainab merely chuckled as she glanced down, amused by this display. Chemo, I appreciate your devotion, but maybe let's not rattle my entire worldly possessions during the moments I express my love for the Creator. But this little episode served to shift her focus back to gratitude, and it got her thinking. If caring for Chemo is a gift from Allah, how can she extend that love outward? Every small act of kindness she fostered towards her beloved cat echoed back to her heart, reminding her of the responsibilities we have toward all living beings. Stepping away from her woven prayers, she soon found herself preparing a special meal for Chemo, who seemed more keen on the interaction than the breakfast options usually provided in that era, which, honestly, resembled the world's least appetizing dry kibble made from whatever. Oh, Chemo, she mused, you teach me gratitude daily. If only humans could abide by such pure instincts, care for one another, and not merely for the spoons. She imagined a world where everyone showed the same care and attention her furry friend demanded, and she chuckled at the idea. Not all humans would respond with a meow of approval, but rather with a comment on the pie they didn't quite get to taste. In that sacred moment, Zainab realized this connection with Chemo was more than just a cat-human interaction. It was a reflection of divine blessings, a gateway to greater understanding and compassion, the very essence of what it meant to be a steward of Allah's creations. With each prayer, she would come to realize more deeply the teachings that fluttered around her like the warm desert breeze. Yes, Allah spoke to her through the soul of a cat. Who would have thought? Or maybe one could argue that Chemo was the feline prophet of good behavior, boldly reminding her to be kind and nurturing. And as Zainab's devotion deepened, so too did her sense of purpose. She began to venture out into her neighborhood, carrying remnants of her kindness, treats for Chemo and for the little children playing in the streets, blessings wrapped in sweet gestures, a reminder that what comes around goes around. And thus, you see, the hidden messages of Allah may be more profound than any scholar has articulated. They whisper in the gentle purr of a cat, reminding us that every act of kindness is a form of worship. It is laughter and companionship all wrapped into one delightful package. So, as you drift into a lighter sleep tonight, remember that gratitude can be found even in the most unexpected places. Just like that cat you can't quite tolerate but find yourself loving despite the many times it zapped you with a sharp claw, or worse, your prized shoe. And may you embrace the subtle reminders of Allah that come not only through prayers, but also in the little paws padding around your life. Sleep well, dear ones. May your dreams be as warm and delightful as Zainab's cozy home, filled with blessings both grand and small. Chapter 23. The Tales of Divine Whispers. Salam alaikum, dear friends. Welcome once again to our delightful realm of stories, where the warmth of 1,000 cozy blankets wraps around you like a hug from your favorite aunt, just after she's finished telling you about her latest coupon clipping adventure. Tonight, prepare for a tale packed with surprises, as riveting as the moment you finally crack the mystery of why your cat insists on knocking over your favorite mug. A mystery comparable only to the origins of sock puppetry, but much furrier. Tonight, we'll embark on a journey that will be more entertaining than your last attempt at finding a parking spot at a mall during the holiday season. Have you ever wondered why cats seem to have an innate ability to sense our moods? Or why your neighbor's cat seems to have taken it upon itself to rule the neighborhood with an iron paw? Let's dive into those delightful queries. So, dim the lights, turn the fan to Breeze of Divine, Wisdom mode, and snuggle in tight. Feel free to share your most ridiculous cat stories with the rest of the universe, or at least with us in the comments, because once you hear what we have in store, you might find yourself nodding off to catnip dreams of divine messages. Congratulations! You've just woken up in 6:30 CE, a time where Wi-Fi doesn't exist, but wireless connections of the feline kind are aplenty. You're no longer scrolling through endless TikToks or pretending to care about your cousin's third dog's birthday. Instead, you find yourself amidst a bustling market, emerging from the quaint paths of a village in the Arabian Peninsula. The sun hangs high, and the air is filled with sounds as rhythmic as a granddad's father-son ukulele recital, laughter mingling with the haggling of delicately woven fabrics, while the aromatic spices spin through the air like a whirlwind at a family wedding. Now, let's take a moment to meet our protagonist, Hassan, a local merchant whose most prized possession isn't his aromatic spices or grapefruits that seem to suspend themselves in the air. It's his friendly neighborhood cat, named Mare. Ah, Mare, who prides herself on her prowess in navigating the complexities of human emotions. You often feel like she's got indoor GPS tracking for your mood, because no matter your face, whether grumpy, joyful, or simply confused, she finds a way to curl up beside you, as if to say, "I got you, buddy." As you look into Hassan's daily life, picture him setting up his spices while the sun begins its slow descent. There's Mare, pawing playfully at a passing butterfly, her innocent demeanor a pleasant contrast to the serious world around them, a world filled with bustling traders who are more concerned about their profit margins than the little joys of life. But in this often chaotic scene, can you hear Allah's subtle whispers ring clear? "Just a little kindness, my dear Hassan," they seem to say. Hassan thought about that as he prepared for his evening prayers. While he intuitively understood compassion for humans, his heart began to open towards all lined-up creatures, whether it was a stray dog roaming the alleyways or even the homeless pigeon who dared to scavenge the leftovers on a nearby stall. With Meher as a gentle reminder, he considered how Allah had woven messages of kindness and stewardship into his heart. One evening, as he prepared for Maghrib prayer, Meher decided it was the perfect time to throw herself into a cozy pile of prayer rugs that Hassan had just laid out, almost staging a before and after photo for their Instagram followers. If only they had an Instagram, of course. Hassan chuckled, looking at his cat sprawled so audaciously on the grass, and thought, "Here is Meher, doing her part in reminding me that life isn't solely about balancing trade and sales. It's also about filling your heart with little acts of kindness." As he made his way through the motions of prayer, a revelation struck him. Perhaps Allah had brought Meher to him not just for companionship, but as a furry herald of divine wisdom, a way to remind him about the sanctity of respecting all creatures, be it human, feline, or even the occasional scorpion lounging indifferently in the marketplace. Post-prayer, Hassan felt a joyous surge. He decided to share this spirit of kindness with those around him. He wandered the alleys, leaving scraps of food for the street cats and meals for children playing nearby. The act of giving became a delightful dance, like an improvised duet performed in the comforting silence of an old neighborhood. Strange how one furry creature could awaken such compassionate instincts in his heart. The nights turned into weeks, and soon the community started noticing Hassan's small gestures. His feline friend was the talk of the town, climbing high wooden shelves and demanding snacks that were just too fancy for a store cat. But more than that, every time Meher sought the softest cushion or dodged playfully between passerby legs, it echoed a message of kindness. A cat and her human lighting the way for small miracles. Indeed, Allah's hidden messages come not just in the teachings, but through the actions we take, whether propelled by the unwavering love of a pet or the simple act of sharing a snack with a stranger. The joy you give expands like ripples in a pond, turning the everyday hustle into a beautiful tapestry of compassion. And there you have it. As you find comfort tonight, let the friendships you create, even if they involve rolling over a cat now and then, be a reminder that kindness cements us in the fabric of humanity. Watch for those divine nudges in your life, often hidden in the whiskers of furry friends, leading you to a path of compassion and love. So, as you gently float into sleep, perhaps you'll hear the echoes of Meher, reminding you that the divine whispers are ever present. You just have to keep your heart open and listen for the blessings around you. They come in all shapes and sizes, even in the tiny purrs of a delightful cat. Sleep well, dear friends. May your dreams abound with warmth, laughter, and kindness, just as Hassan's evenings were filled with the joys of nurturing and companionship. Chapter 24. Whiskers of Divine Wisdom. Salam alaikum, dear friends. You've just drifted into a tranquil realm, ripe for exploration, and illuminated by a glow brighter than your neighbor's Halloween decorations. Tonight, we're diving into a furry adventure that's more delightful than a surprise party thrown by your elderly aunt, where all the guests must wear awkward hats and discuss their gray hair. As you settle in, perhaps ponder these hysterical questions. Have you ever felt judged by a cat who looks at you like you've just commented on their weight? Or wondered why your pet insists on choosing the least comfortable spot on the couch to nap? Well, let me assure you, the cats of 7th century Arabia had their own ways of conveying wisdom, part sass, part grace, and fully divine, if I may say. So, go on, dim those lights like your favorite atmospheric cafe, switch that fan to gentle breeze of heavenly wisdom mode, and get lost in the warmth of this cozy narrative. After all, who doesn't enjoy a light-hearted journey through history where cats play an essential role? Congratulations, you've just awakened in 630 CE, an era where there was no Wi-Fi, but feline connections were strong enough to make your heart purr like a well-fed kitty. You've entered a bustling market nestled in the heart of the Arabian Peninsula. The sun hangs high, and the air is filled with sounds akin to a flock of geese during their annual outing, all honking for breadcrumbs. Or perhaps those are just the merchants haggling over dates and textiles. Picture this. The aroma of spices wafts through the air, vivid and intoxicating, mingling with the sweet shopkeeper's recounting of his latest cat-related escapades. That's where you meet Hassan, a local merchant whose greater treasure isn't his lineup of exotic spices or plumply enticing grapefruits, but rather his ever-busy cat, Meher. Meher, the feline diva, doesn't merely stroll through life. She floats, like she's convinced she is a queen and everyone else, well, not quite in her league. If there's a rumor that cats are aware of human emotions, Meher is undoubtedly the messenger of this divine intrigue. How does she know when you're sad? It's almost as if she has an internal emotional compass, or perhaps a hidden catnip-powered algorithm. One day, as Hassan sets up shop, the melodic sound of laughter fills the marketplace, mixed with the occasional honk of a horn, or something akin to that considering there weren't any cars yet. It's almost like a chaotic symphony, but without any instruments, just the delightful chaos of daily life. Hassan carefully places his freshly ground spices, ensuring they're as vibrant as his vibrant cat's personality. And what is Meher up to, you ask? Oh, she's perched high on a spice barrel, pretending to be a majestic lion surveying her domain. You can almost hear her thinking, "May you be ever so bold, humans, because I am the keeper of this kingdom." It's like watching a feline episode of Survivor playing out right before your eyes. Now, transitions are tough, but let's pause for a moment and consider something divine. One evening, as Hassan prepared for his Maghrib prayers, inspired by Meher's audacious lounging style, he contemplated a soft, ethereal truth. Cats bring a message of love, kindness, and stewardship,
just in time to nudge him into a deeper spiritual engagement. Maybe Meher is Allah's furry messenger, Hassan mused, chuckling at the thought. It struck him then that the divine whispers reside not merely in holy texts, but through the little companions who curl beside us, reminding us to be gentle in our actions and compassionate like the believers of old. So what if those little fur balls, weighing in at a solid 10 pounds, were sent to deliver messages of kindness in a world that often juggles the balancing act between responsibility and compassion? Hassan decided
That post-prayer, he would share his leftover bread and remnants of his evening meal with the stray cats lounging outside his shop. They deserve a taste of this bliss too, he thought, with an enthusiasm usually reserved for finding a missing sock. The first plate of food was offered to a forlorn street cat, who seemed so starved for affection you could practically hear it purring from across the street, saying, "You know, I could get used to this." Soon enough, word spread through the alleyways. Unbeknownst to Hassan, his reputation transformed from a simple merchant to a cat whisperer of sorts. Over several weeks, Meher, with her uncanny talent for navigation and unconditional love, had drawn the community closer. People began to come together, forming a small collective around Hassan's humble acts of kindness. They began to share stories, laughter, and freely exchanged goods, becoming a whimsical community united by one fluffy feline. Hassan grinned with satisfaction. "Who knew a cat could lead me to such divine social change?" he chuckled, knowing that Meher was not just a pet, but a catalyst for unity. A tale embroidered with cosmic laughter, all veiled in the elegance of nature. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a golden hue upon the earth, one could almost hear the laughter of cats echoing like soft winds through the streets, an illusion of divine whispers in every purr, meow, and happy feline leap. And so, dear friends, as you gracefully tiptoe into the land of dreams tonight, close your eyes and remember that with every act of gentleness, love, and kindness, like our beloved Hassan and his furry companion, you too carry messages from Allah, ready to uplift the world around you. Sleep well, and may your dreams be as snug as a kitten in a basket of warmth. Chapter 25. Pause of Peace and Divine Message. Salam alaikum, dear friends. Welcome back to our enchanting journey through history, where the fabric of time is woven with the softest paws and the loudest purrs. Tonight, we find ourselves in a world more charming than an unsupervised cat let loose in a yarn store. Yes, it's the beautiful sunrise era of 7th century Arabia. But before we embark on this adventure more delightful than discovering your favorite snack at the back of the pantry, let's do a little introspection. Have you ever watched your cat lounge around like a monarch, reveling in her own existence, and thought, she's either a feline diva or the reincarnation of an ancient philosopher? Or pondered why they never seem to notice when you trip over your own feet trying to impress them? Maybe your cat has mastered the art of selective hearing, or perhaps you wonder if they secretly plot world domination from their favorite sunbeam. Grab a cozy blanket, dim those lights to Cozy Cave of Wonders mode, and remember that we're diving into a world where cats had their divine messages to share, and their wisdom did not go unnoticed. Congratulations, you've just woken up in 631 CE, the heart of the prophetic era, where the gentle whispers of divine truths mingle with the sweet scents of blooming jasmine and spice. Picture this. The streets of an Arabian town bustling with life, merchants bartering over fine silks, children running amok like tiny tornadoes, and in the midst of it all, you spot a cat perched regally atop a stone well, as if awaiting royal orders from the heavens. Let's talk about the morning ritual. As the sun rises, casting mesmerizing orange and gold hues that smell vaguely like cinnamon and sun-warmed sand, you can hear the delicate chirping of birds battling over the best viewpoint. Feels like morning yoga for the soul, doesn't it? Time for your morning cup of Well, that could be anything from date-infused water to a well-deserved cauldron of fuming Arabic coffee bubbling on the stove. But alas, our main character in this tale doesn't require caffeine. No, she prefers the delicate aroma of the morning breeze, combined with a dash of catnip, of course. Our furry protagonist, let's call her Amina, a truly majestic cat whose coat shimmers in the morning light, is no ordinary feline. Amina's whiskers twitch with an air of wisdom. She seems to know things no human can fathom. When Hassan, our friendly neighborhood merchant, steps out of his humble abode, Amina greets him with a slow blink, as if unveiling layers of divine secrets hidden within her feline heart. "Good morning, Amina. What profound wisdom shall you share today?" Hassan chuckles, knowing very well she won't respond in human language. Yet her reply is felt rather than spoken, a soft purring that reverberates like a gentle reminder from the divine. As Hassan sweeps through the market, he marvels at the aromas wafting from every stall. The scent of fresh bread, ripe figs, and exotic spices is intoxicating, like a culinary symphony that draws you to its fragrant beat. But just as he is about to indulge in a delectable morsel, Amina nuzzles his leg with purpose. "All right, wise one, I see your point. Sharing is caring." Hassan winks at her, remembering the little pieces of bread he had set aside for the stray cats, but had forgotten amid his morning hustle. Perhaps Amina is teaching him mercy that morning. Perhaps she's a divine reminder that kindness can take many forms, even if it involves giving up a few of your own precious treats. That day, as the sun climbed higher, casting playful shadows around the bustling marketplace, the presence of Amina, and the gentle wisdom she embodied, began to ripple through the lives of everyone she encountered. Local children giggled as they chased her with puffs of gathered cotton, their laughter like music that wrapped around you, layer upon layer, muffling all worries of the day. Peasants paused their bartering to admire her splendid fluffiness, while even the harshest of merchants couldn't resist her captivating charm. "Isn't she the soft ambassador of joy?" one elder remarked, reaching down to ruffle her luxurious fur with newfound affection. As the day wore on, Hassan found himself sharing more than just bits of bread. He was sharing tales of Amina's mischief blended with the sweetness of community spirit. He would describe how she had saved him from countless encounters with pesky rodents, and how she managed to persuade customers to linger just a little longer at his spice stall. In their laughter, the community reclaimed something precious: connection, a forgotten language of love and warmth, spoken through the paws of their royal feline friend. As twilight approached, casting a soothing azure over the sky, Hassan found himself sitting under the stars, with Amina curled up beside him. They were reflecting on the day, feeling an overwhelming sense of tranquility, much like witnessing the twilight put on its final dazzling show, inviting the stars to emerge from their slumber. Lost in these moments of unspoken companionship, he realized that the divine messages Allah shared often come through the simplest forms: a glance, a nuzzle, or even a slow blink of a cat's eye. Ah, the beauty of it all. Like a gentle breeze whispering through the palm trees, or a soft chorus of crickets singing lullabies, Amina reminded Hassan, and everyone around her, that mercy toward all creatures, no matter how small or large, often leads to an inner tranquility that knows no bounds. And so, dear friends, as you settle into your dreams tonight, remember the quiet lessons imbued in those little moments of life. Just as Hassan learned from Amina, may you find joy in sharing, compassion in caring, and the divine secrets of Allah lingering in the simplest of hearts, even those with whiskers. Sleep well, and let the dreams of peace dance gently in your mind like Amina chasing the stars in the moonlit sky. As the night grows quieter, let's gently look back on what we've wandered through together. Not grand miracles, not thunderous signs in the sky, but the small, almost laughably ordinary moments. A cat appearing at your doorstep, curling beside you.
or choosing your lap as if it were written into destiny. In the past, life was heavy. People carried water by hand, slept on hard ground, and worried about tomorrow in ways we can barely imagine. Yet even then, Allah placed comfort in the smallest forms: warmth, companionship, a living creature that asked for nothing but kindness. Sometimes survival wasn't heroic. It was simply enduring the day and finding a moment to smile when a cat brushed past your feet. There's something quietly beautiful and slightly amusing about how such fragile moments have outlived empires. The people of the past endured hunger, illness, uncertainty, and still found room in their hearts for mercy. They learned patience not through luxury, but through responsibility, through caring for what depended on them. Tonight, you don't have to worry about food spoiling overnight, predators at the door, or whether tomorrow will bring rain or famine. You have light at the touch of a switch, warmth at the turn of a dial, safety in walls built by hands you'll never meet. So as you rest, take a breath of gratitude for comfort, for ease, for the quiet lessons that arrive not to frighten you, but to soften you. Let the day release its grip. Let your thoughts slow. Let your heart rest. And if somewhere a cat is sleeping peacefully tonight, perhaps you can too. Good night.